And we are live with another episode of the Keeg Talks. This is a special brand of the Keeg Talk. It's the Keeg Talks Comics because we here at the Keeg are in solidarity with the WGA and the SAG after strikes out there. So we're here to talk about comics, not TVs and movies. We're here to talk about comics. And today, the Keeg Talks Nightwing, known as, he used to be the first Robin, right? Out there in the comics. I'm your host, Dimithri Perera. And if you're watching this live, you're watching this on twitch.tv/The Keeg Show or youtube.com/The Keeg Show. But if you're listening to us, after the fact, it's on podcast channels, wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm joined with two awesome guests, both of which who have been on the Keeg before. First, we got Michael Meade, a.k.a. Mike's Comic Life, a.k.a. For the Love of Comics, a.k.a. Michael, how's it going?
That's a lot of AKAs. Great. Thank you, Dimithri. I really appreciate you having me on as always. It's always an honor. It's one of my favorite things to do ever. So thank you very much.
You are normally on Comic Talk and, every so often on the Keeg Talks, but like comics are your bread and butter, right?
It's my bread and butter. And it's my livelihood. So there you go.
I'm glad to have you on. And you're a big Nightwing fan.
I am a big Nightwing fan. You can say that, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We also have another big Nightwing fan. We got Cailin Dorothy, aka Comics by Cailin. Cailin, how's it going?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm very excited to be talking about my favorite boy today.
But both of you guys are huge Nightwing fans, and for anyone who's watching the live stream, if you're listening to the podcast, you can't see all the goodies, but we're all wearing our Nightwing shirts. And they're all a little bit different. Yeah. Which is, kind of cool. Which means if we ever become roomies together, we can share shirts. And that'd be so cool.
That's exactly what that means, Dimithri.
Oh my god, we could become the Nightwings.
Oh.
No, let's never talk about that.
Let's never talk about that. I got chills for a second, not in a good way. Sure, we can do that.
Chaos just to start.
It actually also made me flash back to when, the Robins, the We Are Robins, which I didn't really get through, but...
no, I didn't read that.
But I remember.
I like that story. That was good. If you were talking about Robins, from, I think a year or two ago, last year...
That was not good, right?
I didn't enjoy that too much, but We Are Robins is good. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Okay. This episode is dedicated to Nightwing, the first Robin who graduated and he became Nightwing. He became his own superhero. That's the Dick Grayson that most people know. When they think of Robin, the one in Adam West, Batman stuff, the one in the movies, right?
Yeah.
They've always been, Dick Grayson.
And the booty shorts as well.
What's that?
And the booty shorts and the pixie booties.
Yeah,
there we go.
That's what people think. And then he graduated. And we got a lot of Robins after that. But Dick Grayson is the first Robin to Bruce Wayne's Batman.
Also, the first superhero sidekick. He came out, I believe, half a year before Bucky did in Captain America 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I think you're right. I think he's the very first
He's the first superhero sidekick.
Yeah.
Boy wonder.
Trailblazer. Am I right?
You said it.
Oh, absolutely.
Someone had to. Yeah.
No question.
Before we even get into the history of the character, I want to know about the character and your guys' history. What's your earliest experience with this character? Cailin, you want to go first?
Yeah.
For me, it's definitely Batman the Animated Series. Where he was known as Robin. And then of course, he's got the new Batman Adventures, at which point he's got his mullet and he's Nightwing.
Quick show of hands. Do we like Dick Grayson with the mullet or no mullet?
It's not my favorite. I'm always going to love him.
Look how slow my hand's going up.
You do? Do you like the mullet or the mullet ponytail?
Yeah, you see the long ponytail?
The ponytail.
It's in the background. If you're watching Twitch, it's in the background. Well, okay, no, I'm covering it up. I'm covering it up. But on the wallpaper that is behind me, right behind me, is the mullet ponytail Nightwing.
Oh, is it?
Well, it's all because the wallpaper is it's Dick Grayson's whole evolution. So one of
Yeah.
them is the mullet Nightwing. So anyway, sorry.
No,
Michael.
that's not a tangent. That is on point of what we should be
It-
talking about.
yeah.
That is a
Okay, I'm
topic for
seeing a
Nightwing.
totally different background on you.
Oh, sorry. So this is not what you guys are seeing, but I mean the wallpaper.
Oh,
The wallpaper,
Oh.
yeah, on
in,
Twitch. Yeah.
Okay.
On Twitch. Yeah.
okay, my
So-
bad. I was like, that's not what I'm seeing.
Though,
To be honest, yeah, I was looking for it too on his background.
I was
"Hmm,
like,
I see a
Robin.
Robin
Where's
up there. I don't see Nightwing."
I mean,
I was so
I
confused
should
for a
probably.
minute.
I mean, I'll find a better Nightwing wallpaper.
No,
for
I
myself.
like it, Dimithri.
Anyway,
It's fine. Robin's on
I know.
there,
I
it's
was like
fine.
searching and found this guy.
So
It
Dick
works.
Grayson, mullet or no mullet? We're saying no mullet? Are we just
I
not
would
a
take
fan
I'd
of
mullet
mullets?
Nightwing over no Nightwing. So if that helps.
Look,
that's
I
an
just want
answer.
him to do what he needs to do to feel the most beautiful, but it's not my favorite.
Okay.
Yes, whatever he's needing, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, like,
I'll
I'm
be
not
there
gonna tell
for
him
him.
how to do his hair, but if he asks my opinion,
I think we're in like the greatest art time of like
Oh,
I like Scott
absolutely.
McDaniel's Scott McDaniel Nightwing from his original run and Greg Land from his original ongoing was pretty solid. I think that's iconic, but I think right now with Bruno Redondo, I think it's some of the best
it's
art
so
we've gotten
beautiful.
from
His
Nightwing.
hair
He's
is
so beautiful.
his
He's
hair is just perfectly tousled.
just the right amount, right?
It
Effortlessly.
looks
He wakes up like that.
perfect.
It's
right. It's not
I-
fair.
I think
God
a
among
good
beings.
Nightwing haircut, as seen in Nightwing art, is
Yeah.
something that is short enough to move with him, but then also
Mhm.
a little bit of length to show movement, because
Yeah.
he is way more acrobatic. Like, he is acrobatic, right? He is
Oh, absolutely.
like Bruce Wayne is not acrobatic. Like,
he's better
No.
than Bruce. Yeah, he's better
you
than
know,
Bruce.
as far as
yeah.
acrobats are concerned, he is the one to do a flip. I feel like Batman, he's just like, I guess.
That was a cool
I
thing
mean-
I liked in. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was
No,
a
go
cool
ahead.
thing. That was a cool thing I liked in Tony Daniel Batman run leading up to Grant Morrison's Batman Robin when he was trying on the suit for the first time. He had to keep going to Alfred saying, "Hey," when he's trying to do the acrobats, he was complaining about the cape all the time. He's like, "Oh, this cape, how does
Mm.
Bruce do this with a heavy cape all the time?"
Yeah.
And so because his Robin cape wasn't even close to that, it's very short, and so he's having to accommodate for that cape movement when he was Batman for a little bit. So yeah, completely. That's his style. He jumps around.
Yeah.
He's all over the place.
Also, in canon, in continuity, Batman's cape is weighted at the end. The scallops on the end of his cape are weighted.
Mhm.
Like, he can use it offensively. But then that doesn't serve Dick Grayson's purpose of doing.
Yeah, I
flips.
think he changed. I think that's what I'm talking about. I think when he was making his own Batman costume, I think he was talking to Alfred to adjust it a little bit. I think that was the scene I'm talking about. Is I think he doesn't have that. I think his cape is very light, so he can still move like he usually fights.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold him back.
But then he smiled too much, and people knew it wasn't him.
There you go. Yeah, they knew it wasn't the real Batman. Yeah, because Commissioner Gordon learned it very quickly. He's like, whoever
He's
you
like,
are, wherever
"Why are you
the
smiling?"
other Batman is, let me know. But it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we'll
Yeah.
go through the history, because like the history. I mean, he's one of the oldest comic characters ever. Like Dick Grayson, Robin, one of the oldest comic characters ever. Like ever, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like
Older than Captain
I
America.
think he's.
yeah.
I was gonna
Robin
say, if he's older than
predates a
Captain
lot
America,
of
he's in
characters.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so Cailin said, Batman the Animated Series, that was the first time you're dealing with Dick.
Mhm.
But Michael, when was the first time you dealt with Dick?
Very, very similarly. Very similar. It was a Batman animated series for sure. Growing up, I was definitely more of a Marvel fan. X-Men is what got me through the 90s. And then early 2000s is where I started getting into DC and the Nightwing ongoing. And then I just never looked back from there. But yes, Batman animated with Robin.
Yeah, I think it's us and our generation. So
Mhm.
if you would have like, I remember specifically, and it's funny that I said this when I was a kid, because I don't know why. Like, I mean, I guess I knew why. Somebody asked me when I was a kid who my favorite superhero is, and I'm talking like when I was 8 or 5 or whatever, and I said Spider-Man, because Spider-Man the animated series, like that, was a big thing, right, back in the day. But like, and Spider-Man is great and whatnot, but there were 3 big cartoons when I was a kid that were awesome. And that's X-Men, Spider-Man, Batman. And it's funny because if I think about my favorites now, X-Men, Batman, then Spider-Man. But when I was a kid, Spider-Man was easier to digest, I guess.
Kids love Spider-Man. All kids love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but like, yeah, Batman the Animated Series would have been my first time with Robin, but also the Adam West reruns.
Sure. Oh, like, Super Friends. Oh my God. Super Friends.
Okay. Super Friends.
I totally forgot about Super Friends. Of course, I was watching that when I was a kid too. Meanwhile,
that's
the Legion of Doom.
Boomerang.
Right? That one.
Right. It was on Boomerang, but I didn't have cable when I was like a kid. Like I had cable starting in like 4th grade. I got cable. So like 4th grade onwards, I got cable, which means I was watching just like network TV, you know, which makes it sound like I was just like 3-year-old watching Ally McBeal. That's not what I mean by network TV, but like, you know what I mean.
It sounds like your style, Dimithri.
Yeah.
You're at home.
You know, Boston Public. I remember commercials for that lineup when I was a kid, not understanding like there's a ghost baby or something. There's a ghost baby in Ally McBeal.
Oh my God.
Anyway, point being is Adam West reruns. Super Friends came later for me, but I binged Super Friends when like I was stuck at home during the summer, and I'd be like, I'm just gonna watch anything on Cartoon Network, just like whatever.
Oh yeah.
So Super Friends, that was the first time I saw Cyborg and Firestorm.
Yeah,
because they were the 2 new Super Friend recruits in the final season of Super Friends. Anyway, point being is Adam West, Batman the Animated Series were my first like Nightwing.
I think a lot of modern audience.
Dick Grayson.
I think a lot of the newer generation, I think gets in. I don't know. I could be wrong. I think a lot of people got into him lately starting with probably the newer cartoons, right? Teen Titans,
right?
Teen Titans, and then Teen Titans Go,
huge.
leading into that, and then Young Justice, starting in the early 2010s. I think that's where a lot of modern audiences come from.
Yeah,
I would assume.
I feel though like little kids, if they were young enough, because no matter what, you get introduced to Robin at age 5, no matter what generation you're at, right?
Yeah.
Like there's always some sort of Robin material on TV, right?
Well, that's the point. I mean, that's the whole point of the editors adding in Robin. They needed kids to identify. They need to be like, okay, our kid audience need to bring him in, and they need to believe that they can be with Batman. They can help the superhero out. That was the point of the sidekick, right? Is so get all these kids when they're reading these comic books to really see themselves in these characters and be able to help out these amazing superhero characters and be that hero. Like, and I absolutely love that. That's what I love.
I think that's the same reason so many people identify with people like Spider-Man, because he was a kid. My dad's favorite character when he was a kid was Shazam, Captain Marvel, because he was a kid.
Yeah. Well, Shazam, Billy Batson was a super popular character.
Yeah. Fawcett Comics,
and then Captain Marvel Jr. also. So like, because kids can relate, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And so a kid relating to comics is big. And that's what I think that like the modern companies are sort of neglecting is what are like 5-year-olds entries into superheroes.
Yeah.
What are 7-year-olds? What are 8-year-olds? What are 10-year-olds reading, watching, consuming? And that like I think is a big thing, right?
Yeah.
By the way, just random thought. What would have happened if Robin from Adam West became Nightwing?
A Nightwing 66? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's before Robin was even Nightwing in the comics, right? He became
yeah.
70s,
that was like
right?
what, the 80s, 70s maybe?
When he became Nightwing?
When did he put on the disco
like 84,
wingsuit?
85.
Okay.
Tales of the Teen Titans issue 44.
Oh wow, you know.
First appearance as Nightwing.
Well,
not the first appearance of Nightwing though.
No, he's not the first Nightwing.
He's not the first Nightwing. Yeah. Tales of the Teen Titans issue 44.
Oh yeah. Nightwing as a Superman character is 1963.
First appearance of Nightwing.
But that's not Dick Grayson. That's Superman being Nightwing, which is super weird.
Yeah, in the bottled city.
Does it suck that comics are confusing?
Yes,
I
and
like
no.
it. I like
I
it.
kind of like the chaos.
Sorry,
I
hold
like
that
the
thought.
universe. I like there's so much in there.
Sorry. Give me a sec. Sorry, test it again?
Huh?
There's so much
No,
in there.
hold on. Give me 1 sec.
Oh.
Something happened with my end. You guys can hear
Did
me
I
though?
break it?
Oh.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
I can hear you, sorry.
Okay, wait. You guys there?
We're here.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Whatever you were saying, rewind like 5 seconds and then continue.
I don't remember where it was. What was
I don't
I saying?
remember what we were saying.
Oh,
I think we were saying like Superman, Nightwing.
The world. Yeah, I love the universe. I love having this. It's just so broad. There's so much in it. Yes, it is. It is difficult and intimidating to get in. I completely understand that. I'm not denying that at all.
Oh,
but
yeah.
there is so much. I think there is so much for everybody. You can get into DC and you can love some bits of it, no matter even if it's just one character or if you just love this artist that you're getting into it. Like there's so much in DC that I love it. Everyone can get into DC and find something they like.
Yeah. And they make it easy that if you, like me, only collect one ongoing series because your life is just too busy to keep up with much more than that, I can read just Nightwing and not feel like I'm missing like 1,000 things. Because yeah, there's tie-ins to the other stuff, but they explain enough of what I potentially missed in other titles that I don't miss important information regarding my character and what I'm reading with him.
Yeah, if you stick to characters, it tends to be more straightforward. But I think Nightwing might be one of the most straightforward characters because even Bruce Wayne has died, come back to life. Zuranar, you gotta take a lot into account when it comes to Batman. Nightwing is pretty straightforward. Yeah. Like here's a challenge for you guys. In 5 steps, how would you break down Nightwing? Like his journey, his biography. You don't have to do it right now if you need prep time.
Sure. No.
Just like Batman. You need
kid, right? Yeah. Robin, starting as a kid, joy, fun, right? He's ready to take on the world.
Living his best circus life.
Yeah, living his best life.
Okay, start off with the circus. That's the first sentence.
The circus. Right? Haley's circus. He's just having fun, doing flips on his trapeze with his parents.
Okay.
Yes. Nightwing. Robin. He's Robin now. He's with Batman. He couldn't be happier. Being a hero, being inspired by Batman, wanting to help the world and everyone he can. Fantastic.
Okay.
Teen years. He meets the Teen Titans, grows up, finds a new family with the Teen Titans. Moody teenage years. He is angry with Bruce. They butt heads. He leaves. Becomes Nightwing.
Is that
right? We have Nightwing, right? He's in Nightwing. He's in Nightwing phase. We're now in the 80s, 90s. He's in his kind of, can I say this? He's in his asshole phase a little bit, right? He's out on his own. He's right. 90s Nightwing is very much out on his own, very much like I can prove my overcompensating for a lot of stuff, being over the top because that's who he is, right? Going through nights, but he learns. He's doing a lot of stuff.
Are we still on 4 or is that 5?
That's 4. We're now on 4. Does it need to be 5? He's so complex because he goes into his life as Batman too, right? And that's not 5. That's not where the end is.
How do you?
Yeah, that's not where the end is. Yeah. And he's so much more after that. Because I think him being as Batman was a big phase in his life too. Because he had to really tone himself. He had to lose himself a little bit to be Batman. He couldn't be Nightwing, right? He was trying to be himself. He was trying to be his own Batman, but he had to be Batman. And so then leaving that role, having to give it back to Bruce, and then becoming Nightwing all over again, and a better version of Nightwing from learning all that stuff. I think such a great character arc through his entire run so far. But to be fair, he's had way a long to grow, right? He was the longest Robin, I think like 40 years or something. Like he's the longest Robin, and he's had a lot of time to grow as a character.
Yeah. Would there be any edits, Cailin, on Michael's?
No, I mean, I would definitely agree with his 5 steps. I mean, I think I would just expand that. Like step 5 is really where he's come into his own as both a solo hero, but then also a leader with the Titans, and
sometimes
he's finding, sometimes the Justice League. He's a mentor to, John Kent Superman and and
I love that.
oh, I thought you said something. Sorry. Yeah, like I like how I feel like right now he's kind of just like found his faith in where he fits into the world. And obviously there's still more for him to learn and grow from, but I think he's like like you said, he's the best version of himself right now.
Yeah. DC's finally investing in Nightwing.
They're letting him be happy.
They're letting him be happy. They're pushing him
no
front
joke.
and center. It's really nice. I
like that they've toned that they keep him. I know we're gonna get into this later, but we'll get into this later. Barbara isn't my first choice for him, but I'm glad he's with Barbara right now, and they're like together, and this is like the longest he's been with someone for a while, right? And so
I'm loving it.
I'm loving it. I mean, I guess he's been with Starfire for very long too, I guess. But like, I like that he like she being with her is like, I don't know, it's really made him better. Him better.
Yeah,
it really has made him better. So I like that too.
I mean, he's definitely growing up.
She's found a place.
Sorry,
definitely.
Cailin?
I was saying like she's found a place. I mean, Dimithri knows how much I am a Barbara stan before literally anything else.
I love Barbara. Don't get me wrong.
I adore her more than life. And I feel like where she is right now, kind of being both Oracle and Batgirl, and letting Dick go off and do his thing, but then also like sometimes teaming up with him and putting that suit on and letting herself go out there, but then also being the computer genius Oracle. I love where she's at right now, and also the mentor to the Batgirls.
Which was a shame to see that book go. I'm sad that book got canceled, but yes, I also like that as well. I like the balance. Yes, I have no words. Yeah, that was perfect. Yeah, that was great.
I would say that DC didn't invest much in him as Batman. Like, I think to tell his story, it's just a footnote. He was Batman once, and Damian was his Robin.
Twice. He was Batman twice.
Oh yeah, he was.
Prodigal Son in the 90s.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, technically 3 times, but
what was the third time?
There's a Silver Age appearance where he's in the future with Batman's son. He's Batman 2. He has like the Roman numeral 2 on him. I hate it. You know what I'm talking about though, right? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's one of the things.
Technically, but that's not in canon anymore. That was back in the old. So yeah, it's not. But yes,
we don't count
that one. But
canon.
But during Nightfall, after Nightfall, and then during the late 2000s.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's gonna take me down a whole other thing.
He was called Batman 2. That made sense. He was the second Batman 2.
It's the biggest problem that I have with sequels in general from all media, is they'll do what I always point to that as an example. And it's like, I hate it when sequels or whatever, or the franchise gets to the point where like Luke Skywalker will have a son, and his son will be like Luke 2, and Luke will then become Darth Vader the second, and then they will have to fight, and then the Emperor will have a son, and then the Emperor's son will also be, and then like, because I point back to that old Batman comic where Joker has a son, Dick Grayson is Batman 2, Robin 2 is Dick's son, or it's Bruce's son?
It's Bruce's son, but he has red hair for some reason,
and it's like,
what?
It's Bruce's son. He has red hair for some reason, but that was Robin too, and they had the Roman numerals 2 across their symbols, just to make sure you know.
Weren't those stories that Alfred wrote though?
It was Bruce telling. Yeah, it was Bruce telling stories like when he was old, and they're not canon. They're not.
I thought it was when Alfred,
familiar with these.
In the pre-crisis continuity, Alfred used to just type on his typewriter stories about the future.
There are those, yes, but the ones there might have been a story with that, but there's another one I'm talking about during during the detective run, early Silver Age detective run. He's on the covers with him. It's old Batman and then Batman 2, like Batman's like very much Batman Beyond status, right? Old Bruce, right? Behind it. So yeah, they're pre-crisis, not canon stuff. So.
Yeah.
Do we think how do we like his Batman? Can I ask one question? Do we like
Dick is
Grayson as
Batman?
Batman? Yeah. Do we like, did he do a fine job? Did he do a terrible job? What is everyone's opinion on
I mean,
Grayson as Batman?
I liked I I liked the stories. I liked him as Batman, but like it comes down to whether you think Batman should be troubled or not. Like, do you
Yeah.
need an
Yeah, exactly. That's
emotionally
exactly where it's
like,
going. Yep.
Yeah. Do you well also do we need a Batman? Like I
Another good question.
I mean
I think Gotham does.
I think Gotham does. I have some ideas about the future of like this character, but maybe we should keep that till later. What's the future of Dick Grayson? What's that stuff? We'll figure that out later.
Okay. Okay.
Let's talk about the symbol while we're at it.
Like his actual symbol or metaphorical symbol?
His logo. DC Comics has a thing where DC Comics, all the characters have logos, and it's something specific to DC, as opposed to Marvel. Not all Marvel characters have logos. Wolverine doesn't have a logo. Sure, there's the X, but that's the team, and like
right.
I would argue his name is his logo. I would argue,
but he doesn't wear it on his chest.
I know he doesn't wear it. I know what you mean.
Time,
I know.
That's
I was
nitpicking.
Age. I was nitpicking.
That's a golden age concept, right? And even a little bit of Silver Age, but like Marvel gets out of it real fast. Like the Human Torch doesn't have a logo. Like teams in Marvel have logos.
Yeah, the only recognizable one is X-Men. It's like the biggest. I mean, yeah, Spider-Man 2, I guess. Yeah. He has his head, right?
No, no, it's the spider on his chest. He wears
wears
spider on his chest.
Literally,
Black Widow arguably wears her logo. It's just on her belt.
Okay, Black Widow has a logo.
Yeah,
but like
Captain America the shield,
has a shield.
Is a shield?
If you want to consider his shield as his logo, yeah.
I think Tony's arc reactor has become Iron Man's logo.
Yeah, it's kind of become his.
That's how they identify him now. He didn't. That was never a thing. That's a very modern thing. But
yeah.
But
and Hulk's is literally just his fist.
They do that. So like for birthday parties and stuff like that.
But to your point, Dimithri, yes, that's a very like
they've
in the
had
past
to
like 5-6 years
logos.
Thing. Yeah,
they have.
For marketing purposes, but even that, it's not like high-end marketing purposes. It's for kids to be able to.
Yeah, it's for the kids.
The Superman logo, the Batman logo, some of the most recognizable IP in the entire world. Yes,
Wonder Woman, Robin, Green Lantern,
Flash.
Like
Aquaman even has his little thing.
Hawkman.
Yeah. Hawkman.
Hawkman.
DC superheroes tend to have logos. But when
they're
Nightwing
great
came
for neon
around,
signs.
his first suit didn't have a logo. It was that disco suit, right? The disco
suit.
Wing. Yeah.
The deepest of these.
And then his second one didn't have a logo either.
He didn't need periffs. He was so good. He's like, I don't even need peripheral vision.
Oh, because he has the
collar.
I've got
the collar. Yeah,
he's got his big collar.
I'm totally fine.
That's down to his navel.
Yeah, the deepest of these. He's how courageous
it wasn't down
is this gentleman?
I'm looking
like
at,
I've got
I'm
a chest and I'm gonna show it.
I know I'm over exaggerating, but like the next generation is pretty bad too. But like, yeah, it's obviously over exaggerated a lot when people talk about it. But it's definitely a V.
You can see though, like, okay, in the disco wing, he doesn't have a logo, right? But then in the next iteration, you start developing a V across his chest, right? Like that like it kind of comes this way. But his name isn't V-Wing.
No.
Like it's just a stylistic choice maybe to go with to mimic a deep V cut of a collar. But then this becomes the Nightwing logo later, right? Like the old Nightwing logo, not this one.
Yeah, where it's just like a V kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
his actual like first black suit.
Yeah.
But then there's maybe there is one where it's like super curved on the outside. They come to a point and it's very Batman like almost, and then it kind of comes in.
And then it comes up into a little spike at the top, right?
Yeah.
I
remember that one too.
Yeah. But
is that one of the Schumacher ones?
They utilize that in the Schumacher movies.
Yeah,
you're right.
Which again, it's the closest we've seen to a Nightwing suit in any movie.
Yeah.
is
And then we got
Schumacher.
And really, the only live action we've gotten was Titans.
And Titans, yeah.
We'll talk
That's
about
like the only
Titans in a
true-
little bit. We will dedicate a spot. We will dedicate a spot. To
I-
Titans.
We'll
Yeah.
We
talk
have
about
enough time.
Titans, yeah.
We have enough time. We can, we're only, we've just stuck our toe in.
Yeah, we're just
So
we're getting started, guys. Here we go.
the first time we see a Nightwing logo like a bird, which is the ones that we're literally wearing right now, is Batman the Animated Series.
Yep.
That's the first time. In the comics, you hadn't gotten a bird-related Nightwing logo. And this one stops at a certain point. It doesn't connect up to his shoulders. It doesn't go down the side of his arms. Like, the bird on his chest, the Nightwing bird, that is, like, the logo. I think that's my favorite. I don't know if you guys have a favorite Nightwing logo.
No, the
It's
one
my
that we're
favorite
all
logo.
wearing, I love it.
Yeah.
As far as like suits go,
Yeah.
his current suit in the comics is my favorite. With because we still have the defined bird, but then it continues up to his shoulders and on his back, and you've got the stripes down the arms. The suit I'm designing for myself is like a combo of the comic suit, but then it has the bird with the the cutouts and the wings, very kind of like the Young Justice logo.
That's what I'm having up right now. No one else can see it if you're listening to it. But this is one of my favorite. The Young Justice one is one of my favorites.
I like that one too. It's got the gray and the black.
And it's armored a little bit, but like tactical.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I didn't mind the Rebirth one, which is what Dimithri has behind him right now. I didn't mind that one, but I missed the blue fingertips, the one he currently has again. I like that he has that back.
Why does everybody love the stripe down the arm? Why?
I don't know, but I think it looks nice.
Yeah.
I think it looks flashy when I don't know. There's something about what when he's like in battle, whether he's doing martial arts or just flying through the air, whatever. There's something about the stripes on the arm just kind of creates this really nice dynamic, and also it just kind of breaks up just the solid black that's mostly on the suit.
Yeah. The only other hero that I can think of that has a stripe down his arm is Spider-Man. Spider-Man has a similar stripe.
Oh, sure. He doesn't have the fingertips, but yeah, he has a stripe down his arm.
Yeah. And I'm not talking Miles Morales where they're like, is your armpit bleeding?
Is it bleeding?
Yeah.
That's a choice.
About, like the outside of the arm, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. You guys like the blue stripe though? Is that what you're saying?
I do.
Yeah,
I'm a fan.
Okay.
I like it. I think there's been some great ones. His original one, especially was choices. His original black one, especially with he had the armbands and the leg holsters where he pulled stuff out of all the time, right? His kind of weird utility bands. Those ones were okay, but I think the evolution of Nightwing's costume has been a real trial and error that they're just getting right. Recently, I love them all. Don't get me wrong, but I loved all of them at the time. But then when the new iteration comes out, I'm like, oh, this is much better. All right, yeah, here we go. All right, they just keep getting better as we go.
Well, I definitely need the bird head. I definitely need the bird head.
Yeah.
But I do also like the feather pattern at the bottom.
Yeah, I like the feathering of it.
But they don't have that nowadays.
No,
and
the Young Justice one was good.
The Young Justice one also has
You're saying you want the blue stripes, but Young Justice one doesn't connect up here.
Don't take me by my word, Dimithri.
That looks like both.
Right. It would be nice to see this come up, connect to the shoulders, come back down.
Sure.
That's how I used to draw him as a kid. Like when I was
it fit the show though, Dimithri. He was in the show. He's more tactical, right? He was the behind the scenes team. He was the covert team, so he couldn't be all flashy. But yes, I think the evolution of the character, if they continue the show, if he was more superhero, not covert, that would have been cool if it went all what you guys were saying, just his more classic.
Yeah. How do you feel about his mask?
Is Domino mask?
It's not a domino mask.
No,
you're
right.
It's domino-esque. It's
domino-esque.
It has scallops.
It's evolved a little bit. Yes, it has points. Of course, it does. Yes.
There's similarities between his mask, in terms of shape. it's very similar to Black Cat from Marvel. There's
Is it?
similarities, and yeah, I'm actually using the same mask for like my Nightwing and my Spider character
Oh.
who has like a
Oh.
Black Cat like mask. In fact, the
I
mask
never
I
made that
bought
connection. Oh, cool.
was labeled on Amazon. I noticed it because I was gonna buy two separate masks. And my mom was like, "Wait a second, what you're showing me is the same mask. You can use the same one. In fact, the colors that you're using are very similar. You can literally use the same mask." I'm like, "Oh, you're right."
I never thought
And I
about
think
that.
the one
That's
I
pretty cool.
bought is labeled on Amazon as like Black Cat Nightwing girl's mask or something.
Well,
Very cool.
Black Cat back in the day, her mask was like thin though, right? Like
Yeah.
like between the eye
I mean,
hole
his
and the
is
top, it was like
definitely
very thin.
yeah.
I'm trying to.
I mean, I'm definitely doing a more feminine take on the mask, but you know, it's got the points and
kind of. I could see it.
you know,
I mean, I could see
his
how,
comes
like,
obviously
yeah.
to his eyes. You know, hers is obviously open and shows, you know, the whole like ocular area. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, in the comics, I like what they're doing it, making it more like have more tech in it, right? I like that.
Mm.
Right?
In who?
I like
Yeah.
what they're
Black
doing.
Cat or Nightwing?
Nightwing, sorry.
Nightwing.
I'm sure Black Cat
and
has it
Oracle's
too,
like
but-
in his ear and in his eyes.
Yeah, when you can see everything, you can go infrared and stuff like that. I like
Yeah.
that a lot. I like that. Yeah, the mask seems fine. I've never had an issue with the mask.
I
They don't
like his
change it
mask.
too much. I wouldn't.
I like
believe
that it's blue. It used to be black.
Used to be
There's a lot
black,
of
yeah.
iterations where it's black. I like the blue look.
I'm
Yes,
trying
I
to.
like-
Once again,
I
it
like
just
the
adds a little more pop to him.
I like the darker blue that they have now. What Bruno Redondo is doing. I don't think he's coloring it. I forget the colorist's name, but I like the darker blue than the one
Wait, I
that.
have it right here.
Yeah, thank you.
No.
Dimithri, like the rebirth one.
I didn't realize that his mask changed colors. Okay, it's such a subtle thing. Yeah. Now
It's
I can't
definitely
see it.
black at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about when he was red?
Oh, New 52.
You
Here
guys
we go.
you guys like red Nightwing? Red suit Nightwing?
I'm not opposed to it.
Especially with the
I mean,
Batman.
in my opinion, there's not
things.
a bad Nightwing suit. Like even
don't
Disco
think-
Wing,
yeah.
I like it.
There's no bad Nightwing suit.
But red is not. I definitely think blue is his color.
I agree. I think it fit for what they were trying to do at that time. All
Mhm.
the Robins had this like red theme.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
more aggressive at the time. Like the whole series, the whole run was being a lot more aggressive. And so
Yeah, I mean, New 52 in general.
yeah, exactly. And especially because they gave him like the Batman fins as well.
Yeah.
On his suit. And then he was a lot more aggressive. He was a lot more I don't know. He was a lot more red.
It's less
I didn't-
lips and more.
Yeah, exactly.
punches.
But moving back to the blue was obvious. Yes.
Yeah. I didn't personally read Nightwing's New 52 run, but he made appearances in Batgirl,
He did.
which I loved the Batgirl New 52 run.
That issue is one of my favorite artists. Trevor McCarthy did that issue that I think it was like issue 6 or 7, where he shows up with Barbara and they're like facing down a, I think,
Yeah.
changing person, and it's one of my favorite artists. But yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Well, keep in mind also, I was just remembering is that like Nightwing in the Batman the Animated Series wasn't a domino mask; it covered the nose.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was like this.
That one isn't.
Yeah, you're right. It was very like it made him look like a bird.
I love nose covering masks. So like
I think in Teen Titans, when they go to when Starfire goes to the
Yeah.
future, I think his also covers his nose too. I think
Yeah.
his is more pointed too. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's got the mullet.
He's got the mullet.
I
Yeah.
think that was directly inspired, right, by Batman the
Yeah.
Animated Series. So, wait, how do you guys break down the Robin's weapons of choice? Because I've always it's funny because I guess we'll get to it after we talk about weapons of choice. Dick Grayson in media always seems to be an amalgamation of other Robins.
Oh, sure.
But like how would you break down so Nightwing has Eskrima sticks, right?
Yeah.
But Robin, when he was Robin, he didn't.
No.
Did he have anything? Did he have any weapons?
I think he had like batarangs.
Yeah, he had batarangs.
He like had whatever Batman had.
Yeah.
His grappling hook.
I don't think
like
he
that.
had anything like specific to him that I can think of.
And then Jason
But yeah, I like that.
didn't.
No, I like the eskrima sticks, and then also he can turn it into like a bow staff, and then he also uses them as his like trapeze.
Does he turn it
his
into
grappling
a bow
hook?
staff?
Yeah.
Does he turn it into a bow staff in the comics, or is that a cartoon version, like a cartoon thing?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure. I
feel like
can't think of specific an example, but I'm sure it does. Yeah, it's a mini staff. It's like a mini staff.
It's comic book magic. Also, how does he just like attach them to his back and rip them off? Mine's going to be magnets, but I highly doubt a high-tech superhero is literally just using magnets.
They're really strong magnets. He's trying really hard.
There's just a holster.
He just like
it's like a holster.
Where when you actually see him from behind, they're literally just on his back. They're not like in a holster. There's no like.
You rarely see them from
straps.
It depends on the artist. Most of the time they leave it off.
No, they draw that man from behind all the time.
They do draw him from behind all the time.
That's
sometimes they have like little.
I think it's in the contract for every artist who ever works on Nightwing that they have to at some point show him from behind.
Well, now it's because it's meme worthy, right? Like it's a meme, right?
I mean, I'm not complaining.
No.
Like
neither's Barbara. Barbara's fine.
Barbara's very happy.
She deserves some.
I want to talk about her suit up for a second because that I was just getting caught up the other day, and I specifically was reading issue 105, and I've noticed this, but it just really struck me when they're doing the whole like, oh, we got to go out, and so they're getting ready and putting on their suits, and she's literally just woken up. Her lips are normal colors, and then all of a sudden she's in her Batgirl suit. Why are her lips black purple? Anytime she's in her new Batgirl suit. Is black purple, and anytime she's in Batgirl, she's got her black purple lips. And I'm not opposed to the design choice, but I'm like, what is she's putting on her suit? She's like, wait, hold up, honey, I gotta put on my lipstick.
It's part of the cowl. When she pulls it down and put it back up, it gets the lips.
Oh, it's just the lipstick is like automatic. It's like a stamp in the
cowl, ready to go. It's part of the design choice, like right. She can do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
I just thought it was. I think it's funny when you think about it logistically.
Yeah.
Do you like her new costume right now?
I do. I like anytime she's got a purple look. I personally am a big fan of Batgirl of Burnside. I really love that design.
Babstar.
So
she's so good.
Literally.
She's so good. I went to one of her shows in LA before. She's so much fun. It's really, really cool.
I've met her a couple of times at New York Comic Con. In fact, I've got her signature on my water bottle. And I actually have this sticker as a tattoo.
Oh, nice!
And I have it tattooed on my shoulder blade. I tweeted at her when she released that design. I was like, "Can I get this?" She's like, "Absolutely." Babstar is the reason I started reading comics.
Really, from Batgirl's Burnside?
Yeah, I had always liked superheroes, but I had never fully dived into comics. And I had just turned 21. My grandma took me to the mall to go do some birthday shopping. We ended up in Barnes and Noble. I was like, hey, I always like superheroes. Let me check out the graphic novel section. And I picked up Batgirl of Burnside, and I was like, this is amazing. I need to read everything. And then I realized it was actually, even though it was labeled volume 1, it was actually like after Gail Simone's run. So I went back and I bought all of Gail Simone's run. And then I read the 3 Batgirl of Burnside volumes.
Yep. Yeah. She takes over 40. Issue 41. Ridiculously good. Yeah. I completely agree. I love how she draws Grayson too, since we're talking about that. He's so cocky. She draws him so cocky. Like it's so funny. It's so,
I adore it.
Yeah, like in a not like a stupid, like annoying way. It's very like cute. Like it's I don't know. I like how she draws him, but how she draws in general. Babstar's one of my favorite artists of all time. Phenomenal. That's so cool that you like her too.
Oh, I love her. My bedroom is covered in her art. Like I have so many prints. My laptop is covered in stickers. I actually have an original commission. Since you're a fan, do you know the piece where it's like Batgirl as like an art student? She's got, she's just painted like just like a bat signal behind her. She's kind of just sitting on the ground, crisscross applesauce, covered in paint brushes in her hair.
No, I don't think I've seen that one. You gotta show me. You gotta show me it. Yeah, send me something. That's
so
cool.
I mean, let me see if I can. I might just have it on my phone, but I have it literally hanging above my desk because I was the original commissioner for that piece.
That's phenomenal. Yeah, I've always wanted a piece by her too. I also get commission art from a lot of different people. I get Nightwing and Starfire.
This one, whoops, I don't know if you can see. It's like
Oh yes,
I can't
yes.
get close enough for it to
No, yes, I have seen that
fully.
before. That's phenomenal. Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
It's my pride and joy. I love that
I
piece.
wanted that original piece from her with Nightwing on the weight bench and
Yes.
Barbara's on top of him.
Hmm.
One of my favorite
That's a
pieces of
good
hers.
one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
super good.
I've
Who's the
got the art
artist?
books with all the little
Babs Tar.
Uh, yeah, she does.
knows.
She does great art.
She does great art. She's phenomenal.
There's no but, except but, right?
Love
Yeah,
it.
no, she leaves nothing to chance. It's phenomenal. She's a courageous artist. I love it.
I met her at a con.
She's inspired my own style in so many ways.
Yes, that's phenomenal. That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
See,
that's why I keep her above my desk. So when I'm working, I'm like, okay, like
inspiration.
I have all her art books like in my laptop bag. So when I'm like working on something, I'm like, I want to draw the hand this way or get the hair to do this. And I'm struggling. I'll pull out the art books and flip through and see how maybe she would approach something similar.
There's an artist. I mean, there's a lot of really amazing artists out there. So I don't want to give like airplay to this artist per se, because there are so many great opportunities, or not opportunities, there are other options out there. But Otto Schmidt is problematic.
Oh.
But
You're talking
Schmidt's...
about
Sorry?
DC versus Vampires run?
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, I like Otto Schmidt's art, is what I'm saying, and like, but as an artist, as a person, very problematic. Seems like a shit person.
Sure.
There's some like weird Nazi stuff back. I don't know what's going on. Also, with the last name Schmidt, I don't know. Johann Schmidt, the Red Skull.
There's that.
I think Otto Schmidt is a big Red Skull fan. Anyway, whatever. The point being is,
that's a weird character to be a fan of.
Anyway, super sexy. Super sexy art.
Okay.
DC vs. Vampires.
I was saying,
like...
DC vs. Vampires, this whole dream sequence with Starfire and Grayson it's very sexy.
Yeah,
right? It's very in there. But those two characters, they're like sex appeal, like definition of sex appeal is Dick Grayson and Starfire. That's their characters. At least at that point, they've grown since then, which is fantastic. But yeah,
what Otto Schmidt does well though, what Otto Schmidt does well is he puts like meat on the bones of the characters. Like the characters aren't just, especially the women, aren't waif. Like they're not wafy.
Oh, okay.
They're like you
real
can tell
people.
Like these drawn people work out.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
And so like I like seeing that in my art. So taking it away from Otto Schmidt, like there's a lot of great artists out there that are not only just not shitty people, but also amazing artists. Because
sure,
you can have both.
Yeah.
Who are your guys' favorite artists?
Okay.
For Nightwing? Best art.
Okay.
For Nightwing or in general?
Okay. I mean, in general, but like, does it apply to Nightwing? Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Obviously, Babstar. I really like Francis Manipul. I enjoy his work. I've actually communicated with him a little bit through Instagram, and he'll post how-tos on Instagram, and I've learned a lot from him that I now use both in my personal art and then also at work, like how he works specifically with like masking layers to color his work. I've pulled from his tutorials into my own work, and I just love his art style.
He has a really cool way of like making something seem really soft, but like really hard, like really soft as in like feathering, but like but it's very there.
The color are soft but bold at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to explain, but
his flash run was very cool. Yeah, I like it.
What's the guy he's been doing a bunch of the Nightwing covers lately? Something Mora.
Oh, Dan Mora.
Dan Mora.
Oh my God.
It begins with a D.
His
work is really nice.
Probably one of the best artists in comics right now is Dan Mora. He's so consistent and so good. His World's Finest run is just so good.
But like,
because art really makes or breaks a comic. Like if you've got a good story, but I don't like the art, it's hard for me to read it. There's been
yeah.
issues where it's like, oh, I love these characters and I'm enjoying the story, but I can't look at it. I don't want to look at it, so I stop reading it. But with Nightwing right now, it's just, in addition to the loving the story they're telling, it's visually always beautiful.
Been a good one. I
what
mean,
happened?
customers used to do that all the time. Like people would be like, I would ask when a customer come up and I'm reading up their comics. I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool. How are you enjoying the story? They get all shy and be like, oh, I'm not really reading. I'm just collecting for the art. Good. Like if you're just getting comics for art, fantastic. You're literally buying a piece of art. Like enjoy.
Yeah.
Like I love that about comics too. It's such a visual medium, and I love that about it.
I've got a couple comics that I've never read, but the cover art was an artist I liked, and it was really cool.
Exactly.
Bruno
I just have them
Redondo
framed.
on the current.
Yes.
But Bruno Redondo, I don't think is doing Nightwing anymore. Like,
I don't think
Oh,
he
yes,
is, but
he
I like
is.
his work.
He is doing it. He just at least he's doing the covers for it because he
he's
was
doing
just releasing covers.
That's all he's doing.
Because we get Pirate Nightwing coming up.
Yeah,
He
but
just released a couple covers for like
I'm
106
sorry,
and 107.
Pirate Nightwing? I did not know
He's gonna
that.
be a pirate.
yeah, but like for Nightwing 108, let's just say, interior is Stephen Byrne. It's not Bruno Redondo. And it looks like Bruno.
It's probably not for the story. It's probably not for the storyline, but I didn't hear that he was leaving the book completely. So he switches storylines. He can't do every single one. So
right, because he's doing other books. Is that what it is?
no, I mean artists do this in comics all the time, though, Dimitri. Like they'll switch between storylines depending on how fast they are.
Right, but I'm trying to figure out when the last issue that Bruno did. Oh, okay, at least 105. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's just taking a break for the story, the next storyline.
All right, I was gonna get sad because
he took a break for not 0 Year,
Fear State.
Fear State. Yeah, he took a break for Fear State and he came back right after.
Fear State was bad. It wasn't worth his time.
I liked the Nightwing one because like one issue was just about Batgirl, was about Barbara. I liked that one with all the fear gas, and Tim is there too, and they finally kissed. It was good.
There's something going on right now with Marvel's Daredevil and DC's Batman titles where they're switching artists across companies, or not artists, writers across. Chip Zdarsky wrote, a really amazing run of Daredevil.
Yeah, he did.
If you want to be pedantic, it's 2 runs, but it's not. It's all 1 run. Both runs are back to back. What's the point? But Chip Zdarsky did that, but then he went over to Batman over there, like on DC. And so like it makes me wonder, like it would be cool to see Marco Cicchetto do Nightwing.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's a great artist.
Because he did Daredevil. Marco Cicchetto did Daredevil. And Nightwing is kind of like Daredevil meets Spider-Man.
Very
similar. In a way. There's a fun aspect to him, but then there's also kind of not a broody aspect, but like the city is, But
Nightwing doesn't need powers for his skills, so there you go.
Right, but they do, like, both Daredevil and Spider-Man do acrobatics, right?
So, like
Dick does.
And Daredevil is definitely one of my favorite characters from Marvel. Only read he's one of the few characters from Marvel that I've actually read comics for, but I've only read a little bit, and I've been wanting to check out more.
Cailin,
from Daredevil.
I'm gonna get you on Chip Zdarsky's.
Please send me recommendations. Yeah. I am like dying.
He's 100%
for Daredevil Born Again. I can't wait.
The thing about Daredevil's runs, they're very like you could pick up Daredevil like at the start of a run. Like you don't have to read Mark Waid's Daredevil to read Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil.
I don't remember who the writer was, but I read the artist on the run I read on the issue I read was Ron Garney.
Ron Garney.
I don't know who the writer was on it, but Ron Garney was the artist. And I just bought a bunch of Daredevil prints from him at Terrificon.
Okay, I don't remember.
I can't remember. It was the 10 It was Daredevil versus like the 10 Fingers. He was the villain. I don't remember who the writer was.
Okay.
It was when Daredevil had his black suit.
Oh.
It was black suit.
In the past 5-10 years?
Yeah, no, yeah, it was recent because I was.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
I want to say it was like 2016, 17
Yeah,
is
at
when
the beginning of the
that run
series, he had
came
like
out.
a sidekick or something. Like someone was trying to.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember the series. Yep.
Blind Spot, I think, was the sidekick.
Yep, I remember the
that
series.
run. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I read that.
It was right after Mark Wade's run, or in between.
Okay.
I think it was right after Mark Wade's run. It was right before Chip Zdarsky's run, I believe.
Okay.
Here's a good question for you guys. Is Dick Grayson the best Robin? Let's talk Robins. Him as Robin, the other Robins.
Hitting big,
for
huh?
anyone out there who wants to know what the in continuity Robins are, it is first Dick Grayson, then Jason Todd. Jason Todd dies. Tim Drake becomes Robin. Then Damian, Bruce's biological son, becomes Robin.
Stephanie.
But is she
Stephanie
canonically
before or after?
right now?
Oh no,
She takes over for Tim.
You're
then
right.
Tim comes back.
Right.
And then
I thought
then
they had
Damian.
I thought they had changed the
No,
because
Stephanie
she was in the Robins book
canonically.
last year. She was Robin. She was
Okay.
in the Robins book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone always forgets Stephanie. She
For
was
some
Stephanie
reason,
for like a few weeks canonically.
I know
so.
Stephanie was Robin. I just thought that they had like changed it so that she was not actually canonically.
No, she's
Robin
canonically
anymore.
because in the
But they
Robins miniseries,
Okay.
she's
I had
considered
that
part
wrong.
of the group.
She's part of the group.
Okay.
That whole
The team.
group needs therapy.
It's true.
Absolutely.
It's true.
But so we've had a lot of Robins, and each one's a little bit different. Like I had mentioned earlier, when they adapt Dick into live action media or even cartoons, they tend to amalgamize him with other characters.
Yeah.
Mainly Tim.
Other Robins. Tim, yeah.
Mainly Tim.
So like, okay,
Yeah.
let's take the
Tim's
Batman
great.
Batman the animated series, right? They gave him essentially Tim's outfit that he was wearing in the comics at that time.
Yep.
Yeah.
The short
But then when they
sleeve,
brought
red
Tim
and
in,
yellow.
he had a different outfit.
Well, when they brought Tim in, they amalgamized Tim with Jason Todd.
Yeah.
Jason Todd never had that outfit though. That was all Tim.
Not with
the red one.
but the backstory. Tim's
the
backstory
backstory, sure.
in the animated
Sure.
series was Jason Todd's like street kid
Yeah.
backstory.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought we were
Yeah.
still talking outfit.
No, I mean, we're talking about it all, right? But
Oh.
like, yeah. So it's funny, and then like Teen Titans, the cartoon, he's amalgamized to the point where like everybody's like, which Robin is he supposed
Which
to?
one
Yeah.
is he?
But he has Dick Grayson because
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's Dick
he's-
Grayson.
yeah.
He goes to the future.
Well,
he's
that's the
Nightwing.
thing. They don't
Yeah.
actually say his name. Something. Till,
No,
maybe,
they
like,
never
there's,
say
like,
his name.
one
Well,
point.
they get close. There's that Batmite there's that Batmite episode or whatever with the Robin and,
Oh yeah.
and his name his name is Nociarg. Nociarg.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Which is Dick Grayson backwards, right? And so
Right.
But even Young Justice, that's purely Dick Grayson. But they gave him a lot of tech
absolutely.
skills, which is very Tim,
yeah.
right? It's very Tim.
Yeah.
So even
Yeah.
though they brought Tim in later, so I don't know.
Also, but here's the
That's
thing,
crazy.
like,
they just like skipped right over Jason. They're like, yeah, he's dead.
well,
it's fine.
well,
I know, Dimitri. I know.
what Young Justice? Wait, Cailin, you've watched all the Young Justice, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's one of my favorite shows. Oh my god, last summer I was crying over season 4.
Yeah. So like what Young Justice does is have time jumps between seasons, which I think is really cool because they can
Yeah.
age up their characters and then be like, yeah, in the meantime, Tula has died in between seasons 1 and 2. Tula dies,
Yep.
Ted Cord dies, like
And Cord
and then-
dies. Jason Todd at some point became Robin and then died.
and I think that's him in The Mask with Talia and like Ra's al Ghul and stuff.
Yep.
Like
and
that's
with
the
Baby
only
Damien.
person with
Baby
with
Damien.
Baby Damien.
Baby
Like
Damien.
that's the only person it could be. Otherwise, who cares?
Right? Yeah, because
know?
he's fighting
Yeah.
Grayson, and then he's like, Grayson. Yes. Oh, I see your memories are coming back.
Ugh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need them to do.
I need to go back and rewatch.
I
It's
need
so
it. I
good.
need them to also continue. Dimitri, I need them to continue so bad.
Or need them to come back. Yeah.
I feel like
Um,
they keep canceling it and then uncanceling it, and I have no idea what there's no clear information. I've had so many people tell me that it's now been canceled,
No,
but then it's
hasn't
I
been
don't
I,
officially
I think
canceled.
officially.
it
I
just
think
hasn't
officially it
been
is
renewed.
canceled.
They haven't canceled, but they also haven't renewed.
So the creators have said that they haven't been officially as far as I remember, haven't been officially canceled, but they haven't been renewed. But that the
Yeah.
creators are like, we could keep this going till I die. Like, just, you might
They
get
just need,
sporadic
yeah.
seasons for the rest of your
Yeah,
life.
I'm fine with that as long as they don't just stop it.
Yeah,
Because
I
I did
agree.
talk to, I talked at New York Comic Con. I went to Chris Jones's booth, who used to be an artist in the tie-in comics, and then actually was a storyboard artist on season 4. And I asked him, like, is it? He's like, no, it's not canceled. We haven't been renewed, but it's not canceled.
You know whose art,
Keep it on the back burner.
and I think they did Young Justice also, at least the first season, whose art changed something in my brain chemistry. It first started off with Crisis on Two Earths, the animated movie, is Phil Barassa. Phil Barassa, his art.
I love him. He's also the main character designer on Vox Machina.
Oh,
Oh, I can see
So if you
that.
watch Vox
Okay.
Machina, the character design is very similar between the shows.
Yeah.
I love
I've
Phil
never
Barassa.
noticed that.
I loved
Okay,
his
cool.
art.
Definitely
on
one of my
Crisis-
favorite artists.
Crisis on Two Earths, and then he went over to Young Justice, I think, season 1.
Yeah. And he no longer is, I don't
So
think
good.
he works on Young Justice anymore. I don't think he worked on the last season, maybe last 2.
Yeah.
But the characters are all based off of his work
Yeah.
because he
So
was the
good.
Well,
original
they've
character
changed.
designer.
Like, if you look at
They
Icicle,
changed, but like,
Icicle's design changed, like, a lot.
yeah, but overall, the feel for the show is still his original
Right.
art.
Right.
It's
But
still
he's-
they're still basing it off of his character designs.
He did this thing that, like, Justice Unlimited didn't. Justice League Unlimited was amazing, but
Agreed.
Justice League
the
Unlimited.
designs are very simplified. But he kind of adds a little bit of armor to his design. And
Yeah,
gives a little bit of, like thickness,
more definition.
you know?
Their designs are
There,
tactical.
it's almost his art style is almost it's in terms of like
It's not overdone, like in New 52,
No.
where everybody got armored outfits.
Yeah.
Like,
But it's
There's
his
like-
lines everywhere.
Yeah.
as far as
Are
like
those
animation
scenes?
goes, his figures are very realistic.
Yeah.
Whereas like that, if you look at, the DCAU, the men are like very, very square up top, tiny, tiny little waists.
Bruce Timm.
Not that I'm
Bruce
opposed to
Timm.
that art. I love
Yeah.
that art, but that's not realistic. Whereas Phil Barassa's like those are more like a man actually have that body.
Yeah, very not Bruce Timm with like tiny feet, big
Yeah.
shoulders.
The tiniest of feet.
Tiny feet.
Right.
Tiny
Yeah.
feet.
Because they were made for action figures. Like, action figures is a
Yeah.
big thing, right?
Yeah.
Action figures tend to have
I
small
love
feet.
Bruce Timm though. I adore his work.
I also-
I don't love
I also like
his
Bruce-
interpretation on how Barbara and Batman should be together.
No,
But-
no,
Ooh,
no.
ooh.
I don't love that part of him, but I love his art.
That was a weird choice. That was an odd choice.
I hate interpretations where Bruce and Barbara get together. The only
Yeah, me too.
exception. Can you guys guess the only exception that I accept Bruce and Barbara getting together? What is
No,
the- what
there isn't
adaptation?
an
What-
exception. What are you talking
exception
about?
could there possibly
Yeah.
be?
Lego Batman movie.
Oh,
Oh,
see, that movie's just so out there.
I love Lego Batman movie.
That it's okay.
Is one of my it's top 3 theatrically released Batman movies for me.
Yeah, that is a good movie.
well, yeah. Dick Grayson's hilarious in there. It's phenomenal.
The story
Michael
in
Cera.
Lego Batman movie.
And then they called you Dick. Children can be cruel. Children can be cruel.
I love Lego Batman movie. That
It's a good
story
one.
could have been adapted into a live action serious Robin origin.
Sure. But
Yeah.
Hollywood is afraid to put a kid as Robin. They're afraid of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. And I think
They
they could
won't do
work
it.
in
It's
this
always
new
grown men.
Pattinson Batman movie. I think we can make it work. I think we can make a kid work. in this Batman.
It depends on how old. Because Spider-Man is dealing with in the comics. I don't know if you guys are reading Spider-Man. Spider-Man's dealing with
No.
Spider-Boy.
Spider-Boy, yeah.
And basically it's a long story, but there's a Spider-Boy that has been written out of the timeline and then back in. So Peter's like, I never had a sidekick. And Spider-Boy's like, I've literally been your sidekick for this long. And Peter's like, I would not put a child in harm's way It was a
Yeah.
commentary, I feel, on Batman and Robin and
absolutely.
sidekicks,
Of course.
specifically.
Yeah, of course.
You know, or you know, broadly. But like, that's people's biggest argument is like, why would Bruce Wayne put an 8-year-old boy out in harm's way? I don't think Dick is 8.
We don't need to explain it. Just let it happen.
Yeah, why do we need to
You
explain
don't
it?
have
Child
to explain
endangerment.
everything.
Like, Kick-Ass does it with Big Daddy and Hit Girl, and
Sure.
it's not shown to be good.
But see, when I'm watching that kind of movie, yeah, I'm looking for the commentary. If I'm watching something like, you know, The Boys, I'm looking for the commentary. If I'm watching Batman, I don't want the commentary
There's
on
a
the ethics of
realism,
a
though.
child being Robin.
I completely agree with Caitlin. Like, I completely agree.
I
Like,
don't want the
there's
ethics.
some
I just want Robin.
suspense disbelief. There needs to be when we're watching superhero
Yeah.
movies. There needs to be some
So
know,
I'm gonna argue.
I fully believe Damian would just go out there on his own without any guidance.
Well, Damian might be.
Damian doesn't need Batman to be Robin.
Damian
just gonna
might
go out
be
there
the
and be chaotic.
only Robin that people would be like, oh, that's not. It's not child endangerment. It's thug endangerment. Put
Right?
Damian out there. Like,
why? Because he was trained as an assassin from the moment he was
Because
birthed. Is that
yeah,
the only
it's just
reason?
well,
a
it's
little-
shown as bad. It's shown as bad. He has these skills. Batman didn't raise
Batman
him as
didn't
an
give him
assassin.
those skills.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
has the skills, and Batman needs to temper him down. But he's more than capable of, like, he's more likely going to kill someone else than be killed himself.
Grayson has skills when he was a kid as well.
Yes,
Well,
but
yeah,
skills,
but he
but he was
wasn't
never
using
trained
those
to
skills
kill.
in that way. Whereas Damian, as soon as he was brought into Bruce's life, he was like, "Here's what I know how to do." And Bruce is like, "Hold on, we need to like hone it down."
in a
I think there
cartoon,
can be. I think there
in a
could be a
cartoon,
kid
it
Dick
works.
Grayson. I think there can be a kid
Yeah.
Dick Grayson. I think there can be. By kid, I'm not saying. I guess not 8, maybe like
Yes.
10 to 12. Sure.
If
I
it's
think we do 10
good
to 12.
enough for Poseidon to let Percy Jackson be 12 and facing the biggest of monsters, it's
That's
good enough
different.
for Bruce and Rob.
That's different. Okay, so here's my take.
They're both
is-
crappy
Please.
dads.
Please.
My take is that, like, you can measure the DC Age of Heroes by Dick Grayson, just like
Yes.
you can measure the DC Age of, or the Marvel Age of Heroes by Kitty Pryde. That's my
Sure.
that's my litmus. Kitty
But
Pryde
we're
is how you
we're
measure-
measuring by Dick right now.
Okay, we're measuring Dick.
We're
and
measuring-
So
Measuring Dick right now.
So the question is, like, how old is he when he becomes Robin? I think in animated versions you can have him be young. In Young Justice, he is young and capable. If
He's like 13 in the first season,
If you
and he's
show
already
that-
been Robin a while.
he can dodge attacks like Spider-Man would, like we are okay with Spider-Man being a teen hero because Spider-Man is able to dodge. If you could show
Sure.
that
He's
Dick
also
Grayson
made
can
that
do
choice.
you know, he made the choice for himself.
Yeah.
Nobody put him in harm's way. I'm gonna disagree with you guys.
Grayson's doing the same thing. He's choosing to do it
If you
too.
had a live action Batman,
Yes, but you can make the argument that like he wouldn't be doing it if it weren't for Bruce having taken him in.
I mean, there's an
Yeah.
argument about child endangerment, and I think that argument is valid. Just like,
Oh yeah,
you know how, like, when we talk about James Bond forcing himself on women, it's
Sure.
similar. Those
Yeah.
are real crimes and real problems that, like, maybe we don't want our hero doing. You know,
Again, suspend disbelief a little
even
bit.
with the
Like,
suspense of disbelief, we don't do, like, James Bond. We can't suspend disbelief that much.
no, what I'm explaining.
well
why.
no,
Like,
James Bond can be James Bond. I
Yeah.
love James Bond, but
yeah,
we could temper.
I
it.
like the explanation from Young Justice because the Justice League was like, you had Robin since he was a child. Is that good? It was either this or he was gonna go out and do it himself. Either as well. Like,
Right.
I gave
That's
him a
true.
direction. And
Yeah.
it was good. And I think that could work very well in live action. I definitely think it could.
Yeah.
If you take that route. Like, just Bruce don't take like Frank Miller All-Star Batman and Robin route. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But like,
Right.
don't do that. But like, take
No.
a route of him, this kid that's like, Bruce is identifying with him. He lost his parents right in front of him. He knows what that feels like. He knows what he's thinking, right? I need to give him an outlet. No one was around. I made my own outlet. And this is all Bruce knows, right? If Bruce is
Yeah.
going to be his dad, this is all Bruce knows how to do. So
Yeah.
Bruce, this is the direction Bruce is giving him.
and it is really interesting how Bruce and Dick, their origins are practically identical,
Yeah.
but because Bruce didn't have someone. I mean, he had Alfred, obviously, and Alfred, there's no question how important he was in Bruce's upbringing. He's very much a father.
He leaves Alfred for a long time too, and then
yeah,
gets
but
weirdly, like, he goes around the world without Alfred, right?
yeah, but then it is interesting how, you know, Bruce continuously holds his trauma. His trauma is what drives him every day. Whereas Grayson definitely, he came to terms with it. And then, you know, obviously that's not something that just goes away when you watch your parents die like that. But he's learned to live with it. He doesn't just like grip to it, and he finds that joy.
Yeah.
He's a very joyous character, despite having been through what Batman went through.
Yeah.
They couldn't be more opposite in some way.
What's the difference? The difference, I think, personally, is that Dick wasn't alone.
Dick wasn't alone, yeah.
Bruce was alone before the Age of Heroes. Bruce was alone without a family. There was Alfred, but, you know, Dick had a family. There were heroes around. There were other sidekicks around.
Yeah.
He could grow up with them.
I think we keep... Sorry, go on.
Oh, no, I was going to say that, you know, it's also been very well established that he has an important relationship with Kal-El. And Kal-El's whole thing is hope and joy and finding the good things even amongst the bad.
Yeah.
And
there's an alternative to Batman, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have
World's
to
finest.
subscribe to Batman's point of view. There are other options.
World's finest. There's all three of them were running around for like 30 years together, right? It was Batman, Superman, and Robin, like running around doing crazy. And that stuff, if you want to read something that a kid shouldn't be involved in, is World's Finest stories are insane. And so kids shouldn't be running around like that. But yes, he got his name from Superman. Like, and
now he's training his own son.
But see, that's the thing with, I think we keep talking about the difference with how Grayson grew up compared to Bruce. Bruce did have Alfred, yes, but up until his parents died, Alfred was just a employee, right?
Yeah.
He was an employee, and then he didn't really start building that father-son relationship until like he was much older. Where Grayson had Bruce, and again, Bruce wasn't the greatest father growing up, but like again, like I said, he was just doing what Bruce knew how to do, right?
Right.
This is the mission. This is how I was coping with it. I believe you can too. And in reading Nightwing comics going forward, he doesn't regret being there. He loves Bruce for bringing him into this world and giving him a direction that helps people. And that's the difference that I always compare. Batman wants to stop evil, where Nightwing wants to help good. And most of the time, they're hand in hand. But Bruce will go out and stop evil, where
it's a different approach.
Exactly. Most of the time,
they're very nuanced characters, right?
Exactly.
You know,
we can also see that obviously Dick had a very important relationship with Alfred, given that Alfred left his entire fortune to Dick.
Yep.
Meanwhile,
now
Bruce
he's rich.
is broke.
Yeah, Bruce is broke now. Yeah.
Bruce is broke, but
Grayson's
Nightwing is just completely revitalizing Bloodhaven.
Yeah.
And good for him. That's good for him. Yeah, good for Grace.
I love the scene.
Great looks, great ass, a lot of money. Good for him.
Good for him. He's got the girl.
Deserves it.
He's got the dog.
Are we going to talk about his ass? Is that a recent development, by the way?
Of course.
What?
You mean Jim and Juan? Yeah, of course. Jim and Juan. Yeah.
What?
Jim and Juan.
Are those his two butt cheeks?
Yes. It's from the comic Grayson. That's what they're named. When he was undercover on Spiral. Yes. I think it's in Grayson like issue 6 or 7. He's undercover. He's pretending to be a
Spiral.
Correct. When he's during the Grayson miniseries, or during the Grayson series, he's an agent of Spiral. He's undercover at this all-girls school in France, and he's the gym teacher. And so while he's trying to teach them doing flips, all these girls are just standing watching him, and that's their conversation.
Fair.
And they name his butt cheeks. The left one is Jim, the right one is Juan. And
I'm gonna
canonically his butt cheeks.
I'm sorry, that's very teenage girl.
I'm gonna say I don't like it. I don't like that. I
don't know how I feel about it. A teenage girl would very much do.
I'm gonna.
If their teacher looked like him.
Teenagers are gonna teenage, right? I get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest though.
Actually naming his sheets feels weird.
I
as a choice made by adults.
Oh, of course.
But even as an adult, I think it's weird to name other people's body parts without them being in on it. You know?
Sure.
Like, I don't know. So I feel like
whatever our choice, like that's
if
in the comic right now, man.
Dick Grayson wants to objectify himself, then he can give the consent
Go for
to
Yeah, of course.
that, you know? Maybe he's proud of his butt. That's cool.
He wears
Quinn,
those tiny swim trunks.
Series.
That's his choice.
Harley Quinn, the animated series, by the way.
So I haven't watched the new season. I watched the previous season where they introduce him.
It's perfect.
I haven't watched the new season yet, though.
Jokes, and that works for Harley. And the exaggerated version.
Have you read the comic too?
You know,
Dimitri, have you read the comic?
Which comic? Oh,
the Harley animated one.
No. The Harley animated comics, no.
She has like a whole list of nicknames for him in that comic. Tushwing is one of them. Like it's phenomenal.
I feel like the Harley Quinn show it's like so off the rails, but at the same time, I think it's one of the best adaptations we've had of most of these characters in a long time.
It's very well written. I also like the Harley Quinn series, and I'm not a huge Harley Quinn fan, to be honest with you, but I like that series. It's very well written. It's very funny. It's a really cool take on these interesting take on these characters.
They know the characters, and then they change.
They clearly understand the characters.
There's a lot of superhero content where the creators don't know the characters, so then their characters like they're in name only.
Go on about
that. Right? But like in Harley Quinn, they know the characters, they know the ins and outs, and then they change them. So they do like really deep cuts. Like in a recent episode, they do the Legion of Superhero Time Sphere.
Oh,
just to allow them to travel through time.
I loved the episode last season where she goes into Bruce's mind.
Okay, yeah.
In an attempt to actually use her, psychologist skills. And I thought that episode was done so well because it's such a goofy show, but then they were also dealing with a very real topic, Bruce's trauma, which is addressed, obviously. It's who he is as a character, but it's not often addressed in that way.
Yeah.
Harley's trauma. Dealing with Harley's trauma.
Harley's trauma.
Even before the show.
One of the most traumatized characters.
Yeah, even before the show, like I knew a lot of people that were like glorifying the Harley Joker relationship. I was like, you don't understand the point of that relationship. It's terrible.
The point of the character was to teach kids about
it's not good.
That was
that's
Halloween
a bad
couple
relationship.
Costumes, right?
Yeah, not
Oh my
good.
god.
My favorite character in there is Bane. I love Bane.
Oh, Bane's great.
The good thing about the Harley Quinn show is that like I went in thinking it was just going to be this horrible parody, but it's it's out of continuity, but at the same time like it is structurally sound. Like the rules of their universe is people die all the time, but it's not enough to hold grudges. Like it's this weird. It's like that's the rule of the universe. Like if somebody kills your mom, like maybe you'll be mad about it, but you'll be like
you move on.
Yeah, that's kind of like death isn't that big of a deal.
The exaggeration between Catwoman and Batman's relationship is so funny.
Right,
like it just makes sense. Like that's of course that's
and
what
Commissioner
it is.
Gordon being an inept alcoholic. Like
it's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because it makes sense. Like it's not too far off of what it could be.
Trying to have a relationship with Barbara, and Barbara's just like, "Oh my god, Dad, shut up! Please go away, leave me alone."
Are you guys okay with a spoiler for this recent season of Harley Quinn?
I'm all caught up. It's fine.
No, Caelin's looking at me like you don't want the spoiler.
Go ahead.
So I'm not saying whether this is permanent or temporary, but there's a coffin for Nightwing, and it's a regular coffin with two butt cheeks at the top to leave room for his butt. It doesn't make any sense because why would he be face down?
Why would he face down?
But up, and then
for the glory of Jim and Juan. What are you talking about?
I'm not gonna.
It's too soon. The way
that makes sense.
Way Young Justice season 4, like the penultimate episode,
had
me so upset.
You thought
I thought like I was going through my Instagram story memories recently, and I came across the day I watched that episode because I posted on my story just like simple text like, if the writers of Young Justice just did what I think they did,
No.
and I like
Yeah.
threatened violence. I was like,
Yeah.
absolutely not. We are not doing this. We are not toying with my emotions like that. It was not okay.
Let's talk emotions.
Oh my God.
Now that you mention it, who is Nightwing's true love?
Oh,
And
are you trying to get me like
Okay,
so much
so
hatred online right now?
before
Don't
before I
do
put
this.
this out there, like superheroes when written well are kind of like real people, right? And if we look at like
Sure.
realistically our experiences with love and whatnot, like it's not always like the one true love that you meet in junior high and then you get married or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
And some to say like maybe Dick Grayson hasn't met his true love yet. We don't know. But given like all of
Some
his
would disagree.
relationships
Some would
that
disagree.
like, you know, we could all agree to disagree if we have hot takes. What do you guys think?
That's
Yeah. Me and my sister have the same argument. She loves him with Barbara Gordon. I love him with Starfire. I like Barbara. Do not get me wrong. No one come at me for that. I love them together right now, like I mentioned, but I like them. I like him and Starfire.
I think Starfire was an important relationship in his life, and I'm happy to see that they have remained friends post breakup. But I fully believe that Babs is the one meant for him, and
friends. They were sleeping together.
He's meant for her, and they have built a beautiful little life with Bitewing.
Yeah, Bitewing. Oh my God, yes, I
love Bitewing.
I completely agree. I completely agree. His life with Barbara right now is phenomenal. I like it. I don't want them to mess that up.
I'm thrilled because I have a friend who does not read comics in the slightest. She barely pays attention to superheroes, but every now and then she'll be like, "So, are you keeping up on Nightwing comics? Are him and Babs still together?" Like she's invested in that relationship, and that's it.
People love to ship. People love to ship, and that's what's called an OTP, right? Like everybody has their OTP, the one true pairing. I like Babs over Starfire.
Most do. It's okay. I'm in the. I get it. It's fine.
But there are certain. I don't know. Like mainly, it's the one thing I don't like about Babs stuff. Barbara Gordon and him is, other than like a few people that I know in real life, high school relationships don't work into like adulthood. Like
to me, they grew up too sibling for me. That's what I.
No.
We're
not going there.
No.
She was raised firmly by her father.
She's Jim Gordon's daughter. They
said nothing about her being with Bruce. What are you talking about?
No, I'm saying
that family. They were the Bat family.
I'm not saying Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon are siblings. I would not use their relationship.
I didn't say you did. I said that. You didn't say that. I said that.
I know, and I'm saying that's incorrect.
But I feel like Barbara's relationship with the Robins is different than the Robins' relationship with each other. It's not the same. And so it's like, yes, she's part of the Bat family, but not in that way.
Yeah. Sure. They don't view her as a sister. Like,
she's like a cousin. You're right. She's like a cousin.
Dick doesn't view her as a sister. Maybe some of the Robins.
You're right. She's like a cousin. I'm sorry. I took it too far. I took it too close. She's like a cousin.
Okay.
Right. I apologize.
I'm going to throw
Let's stop using familial.
I'm going to throw an analogy to Michael. Michael, when you were in elementary school, you know how like when your class moves up a grade, did you get a whole new group of students to be in your class when you moved up? Like a grade in elementary? Was it always like roughly the same kids?
Usually about the same people.
Oh, really?
Did you view them all as brother and sister? Were your classmates brothers and sisters to you?
That's a good way to put it.
Brothers and sisters?
No. Did you have a crush on anyone in your class in elementary school? Because I did.
Yeah, probably. Okay. Yeah, probably.
But did you view them as brothers and sisters? Were they your brothers and sisters?
No.
Were they classmates?
Did I train with them? Were they by my side the entire time?
In a way, you did train with them.
Did I go through life-changing experiences with them?
Yes. Oh my God.
Elementary
school. Absolutely life-changing.
Elementary school. I barely remember yesterday. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
I remember my elementary school class, and like we did a thing where we were literally the same students moving up, and then the other
really?
Like because we were in gate class, and so our gate kids moved up together. Gifted and talented education.
Oh.
different states have different
Yeah,
terms
we
for
did it differently at my school. I live in a fairly large city,
Mm.
and so there's like 10 elementary schools in my town.
Same here.
And there was like 5.
I don't mean to brag.
I think there was like 5. Well, you live in a bigger city than me, but there's no question about that. I mean, for my state, it's a big city.
Yeah.
But there was probably like 5 classes per grade. And each year, there would be some kids, when it was in 5th grade, there were definitely some kids in my class that were from 4th grade, but they kind of just like mix it all up each year.
Maybe this is my experience with it, my personal experience with it, Dimithri. When I have friends,
I need sound bites.
Classmates.
I need sound bites for this
please.
show.
When I have friends and things that I've went through classmates with, sure, we have experiences. But when I move away, when I do something else, right, the friendship eventually will fade. Barbara and Dick were not like that. They were much closer than classmates. They were much close. Same with the Robins. They were much closer. Like they had a familiar, like not sure you don't want to use familiar. Fine. They had a tie that were tying them in a way that was a lot more than classmates. Like,
but I mean, I have friends like that. I have friends that I've known since I was 7 or younger that are still very close within my life. Who, I mean, some of them, sure.
You would need to like catch them up on a lot of stuff, right? When you hang out, sure. When you meet them up again, it's been years. It might even seem like years when you see them, of course. But you have to always catch them up on stuff.
Well,
Dick and Barbara, and same with the other Robins, right? It was a lot. I think that was a lot holding them together more, right? There's a lot more there than a lot of those analogies that you were saying before. Like that's what I'm talking about. Big life, like big things that are just.
I mean, you're talking about trauma. That's what you're saying.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like
trauma.
that's the big difference.
Sure.
The big
elementary school was traumatizing.
Sure, trauma.
The trauma of being in the
fighting crime.
Yeah.
Going through these world-ending experiences together and having be the one responsible. You feeling like you're responsible to save everybody, right? And
but in that
relying on each other that much to be that team, that family, to stick together.
You could work at Olive Garden and have a crush on your coworker, and you're not actually family. You know?
Well, you could at Olive Garden, you are family.
When you hear your family.
But you can quit Olive Garden and go start another job.
In that regard, though, you could.
Dick did.
He had to. He had to get, but he wasn't.
How many times did he move away from Barbara? Like
he still teamed up with Barbara. There was all those Batgirl Robin miniseries stories. Yeah. Like he might have quit Batman, but he didn't quit superhero. He didn't quit that family.
Yeah. I'm saying they're not brother and sister is what I'm trying to say. They're not even.
I know you don't want to see it, Dimithri. I know you don't want to see it.
They're not. They're partners.
Right now they're not. Of course they're not anymore. Of course they're not. I'm not arguing that they were right now. I'm not anymore.
No, back then, even from the get-go, Robin Year One, I think it's Robin Year One.
Yeah.
No. It's another thing. They get Robin Year One. They talk about his crush, like when he's on the rooftop with Commissioner Gordon, and like young pre-Batgirl Barbara comes up, like he has a crush. But then in a later issue of something, like they're stuck in a confined thing together, and he gets a boner.
Sure. That's from Nightwing Annual 1. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I know that one.
Which happens.
Read some Silver Age Batgirl and Robin. They do not flirt. They fight all the time with each other. They're button heads all the time.
Well, Silver Age Batgirl is
that's building
that
lover the enemies to lovers tension.
Silver Age.
What Dimitri's talking about is lovers tension. Not what they were doing in Silver Age.
We're not talking Silver Age. We're not talking pre-crisis.
Then you give me parameters of what you want to talk about right now. I thought we're talking about Batgirl.
How crazy?
I thought we were talking about Batgirl and Nightwing right now and Robin.
We are.
Okay, why doesn't Silver Age count then?
Because then you got to bring in Kathy Kane and Betty Kane and like
we should talk about those guys as well.
I'm not doing that.
Okay, fine. You're having to tone me down. Okay, that's fine, Dimithri. That's fine.
Yeah.
You want to
post-crisis is what
post-crisis.
Matters.
Okay,
DC historians,
would say. not Jason Dick Grayson clone, but Jason angry Jason. We're on angry Jason side, not Dick Grayson clone Jason side.
I mean, from personal experience, I really only know Jason Todd post Crisis. Like,
yeah.
Like I
mean, because he was a Dick Grayson clone before Crisis, and then he turned into
and he dyed his hair black from red.
Yep.
Is that canon?
Yep.
Is that still canon?
Depends.
Is his hair red?
No, I think they want to forget about that. Right. Currently, now it's black. No. I think they want to forget about that.
You know what's canon is Connor Hawk dyes his hair blonde.
Is he really?
Well, I don't know in Rebirth canon, but in pre-New 52, there was a scene of him in the shower with a little bottle of hair dye in the shower.
I had no idea.
It makes sense given his cultural makeup.
They're not siblings right now. I want to be very clear about that.
Batgirl and
they are not.
I'm saying they were never
together. They're in a relationship. They have relationship feelings.
Arguably,
I agree with that right now.
You know,
just to be very clear
must be
with your sound bites, Dimithri.
Yeah, here's a sound bite. Dick bags for life.
Here's a sound bite for you. Fuck you. Like,
but like, you know, it must be hard for Dick and Babs to date. You know, they can't just date normal people. But then also at the same time, while they're heroes, they're not heroes with powers. And so the two of them have such a specific lived experience that to me, it makes sense that they end up together, because I'm not discrediting his relationship with Starfire, but
not what I'm hearing.
It feels to me like ultimately they make sense, because who else can possibly better understand who they are, what they've been through, who they're going to continue to be.
Yeah.
And also understand the limitations that they have as mere humans, but they're still going to go out there and do it anyway.
I mean, there's exceptions, right? Like if you look at celebrities tend to date other celebrities. And if they don't, then, because it's hard for people to understand what your life is like. But But I also think that sometimes it works. Sometimes it helps to have somebody more grounded, you know, a non-superhero, you know, to be with Dick Grayson.
Yeah. I mean, Matt Damon's wife is just like a normal person.
I mean, who's to
and
say
he's Matt Damon.
She could be a serial killer. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't.
I hope not.
We
that
don't
would
know
be
how
a bummer.
normal, but you know.
That's crazy. That's where you went. That's where.
I'm joking.
You'd be like, she's a secret billionaire. You don't know. No, she's killed people.
You know, with I think between Starfire and Babs, though, it depends on how ingrained Gotham is with Dick Grayson. For instance, you know, like people who are like, maybe they're from Philly and they're just like, yeah, Philly for life. Okay. Are they gonna date someone outside of Philly if the person is always going, Philly's the best city in the world, Philly's the greatest city in the world, and like someone outside would be like,
dude, love changes you, man. Once you find that person, who knows?
You know, but like the one thing I do like about Starfire and Dick Grayson is that I love it when Starfire's taller than Dick.
Yes. I don't like it when they draw. I don't like it when they draw it the other way either.
We need more tall women, short kings in comics. Here's a question for
Even though he's not short.
I was gonna say, how tall do you think Nightwing is?
6.
Let's talk about the Robins in general, because sometimes it helps.
Sure.
I see Jason as taller than Dick.
That's how he's drawn normally. Yes.
I like it.
Yeah.
Give him an inch or two. Like it's not. I don't like. You don't need Bane Jason. You know.
Grayson. Yeah, Grayson doesn't need the height. He's confident enough. He's fine.
Yeah. I feel like he's a solid 6 feet.
I want him under 6.
Tim is probably like 5'7", 5'8".
Tim can be short. I would like.
Yeah.
I also think
Damien's a child.
I also think Grayson is a little shorter because there's not a lot of tall acrobats. It's very difficult when you're tall.
That's true. That's also the thing. Yeah.
That's very difficult to do. You have to do way more momentum to do the flips if you're taller.
Yeah.
So
I feel like he's average height.
Okay,
he's definitely above it. Let's say like 5'10".
I'm gonna say it live. I'm 5'7", so I'm gonna say it live. So I'm 5'7". I think we need more 5'7" heroes. But
totally.
Let Tim be my height.
Yeah.
Dick Grayson though can't be that much. Like 5'10".
Yeah, he's somewhere around there.
Yeah, okay.
That's average, and it's tall for an acrobat. But it's average,
I would say that as well.
Right?
But he's not like tall.
Right. Jason can break 6 feet.
Yeah, easy.
But is Jason taller
Yeah.
than Bruce?
They're rarely drawn that way. He's usually at least the same height as him. I don't think I've ever seen where he's taller
I
than
think
Bruce.
Bruce is always the tallest.
Yeah, he's the
Just to give a familiar,
he's
like
definitely
a
over 6
patriarchal
feet.
thing.
yeah, he's the
Like,
patriarch.
your
Yeah, he
Yeah.
always
dad
has
is
to be drawn
always
taller.
than you.
He always has to be
Dad's the
drawn taller.
tallest.
Are you guys taller than any of your parents?
Yeah.
I'm the shortest in my family. Not by a whole lot. I'm like about the same height as my mom and sister, but they're technically taller.
Okay. Michael, are you?
Yes.
You're taller than both your parents?
Yes.
Dang, look at you. When I
Not
was a
taller
kid,
than my
I
uncle
always
and
wanted
cousins,
to be taller
but
than my dad, but
taller than my
I'm
dad.
not going to be. My dad's taller.
I'm taller than my grandma.
I'm
Nice.
taller than my dog.
You take that one. That's a win.
I'm
That's
taller
a win.
than my dog.
That's a
I don't have
win.
a dog. Taller than my cats.
So I mean, yeah, I like if I had my pick, Dick would be like 5'10", 5'11". I would make a mandate that he cannot be 6 feet. Because
Sure.
I want
Okay.
the girls on Tinder to rethink themselves, to be like, I'm on 6 foot and up, and then look at Dick Grayson and be like,
Then he's Dick Grayson. He's just the most beautiful man they've ever
The
seen.
charisma alone on that gentleman adds another 4
Right?
inches.
Yeah,
Like not even a joke.
Charisma.
Yeah. It's true. So
yeah.
future of Nightwing, where do we see him going? Is that
yeah. We gotta have time for that. Where do we see Nightwing going in the future? The Bat family in general. What's his relationship? How does that move forward? Again, because I think that like, how old do you think Dick is right now?
I would say like mid to late 20s.
I'm saying 27. I would say he's been, personally, I think he was at least 12 or 13 when he was Robin.
does that makes Barbara almost 30 then? Or older?
Is Barbara older?
Barbara's like a year or two tops.
She's usually older than him.
Because,
a year or two
well,
tops, though, right?
Because back in Batgirl of Burnside, she was like 21, 22.
They de-aged everyone for New 52.
But that was a
heavily.
little bit different because that
They
was New
de-aged
52,
everyone
it was kinda
heavily,
weird.
heavily.
And then, but where we are does continue from New 52.
Yes
Because
and no.
Rebirth wasn't a reboot; it was a relaunch.
No,
Yes.
Rebirth was a slight reboot. Basically,
Slight
how,
reboot,
yeah,
but-
how
kind of.
Rebirth talked about it was that previous instances are all kind of canon, so they merged essentially it. So,
Yeah.
So,
Not for
But at the same
Rebirth, it was
time,
for
erase
the
the
New
stuff that
Frontier.
people didn't
sorry,
like
for
from New
Infinite
52.
Frontier. You're
Not
right.
Rebirth. Rebirth
You're
was a
right.
continuation of New 52.
So right.
After Rebirth was New Frontier, and that brought everything canon
Infinite
again.
Frontier, not New Frontier.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they did like it was like a slight reboot in terms of like they got rid of the stuff we didn't like about New 52.
Right. 'Cause
Yes.
Dr. Manhattan.
Like the
Red
Superman.
Wing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Sure. They
Resetting
that's
Wonder
fucked up,
Woman's
but yeah,
love
It
life.
was so wild.
I know.
What were we?
Where Nightwing's going? Where Nightwing's going.
When nowadays when they draw Dick and Barb when they're younger, Dick is shorter. Definitely, he's definitely shorter.
Yeah.
But to
Well,
me, it
grow
seems like
faster.
But that makes that doesn't mean anything.
it means a growth spurt because he
Yeah,
doesn't stay
that's
that way
not
for
for
too
older.
long.
Yeah.
I view her as like a year older, not
Yeah.
much, because like even in the scene in Robin Year
She
One, she's
is
a kid
older.
on the rooftop. He's a kid on the rooftop. There's not much of a discernible difference.
Yeah. I think she was just, growing faster. I mean, there's lots of guys that I was in middle school with who were shorter
Exactly,
than me,
yeah,
but then we got
she's
to
just-
high school and they're taller.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
She is older. Sure, if you want to say a year, sure, but she is older than him.
okay.
Okay.
She's closer to
So,
30. than he
we'll
is.
say 28 to 30 for her.
Yeah.
I don't view her as 30
That's-
if he's 27, but okay.
I'm okay saying she's 28 because that's how old I am, and that means I have a chance with him.
You gotta,
Of course.
but what were we saying? Oh, so yeah, how old is he? And so, where do they go from here? Like,
Yeah,
how
where do
would
they go from
you? He's gonna age slowly, but I
Yeah.
have a belief that these characters do age up.
They
Okay.
age, but
Yeah. Sorry, hold that thought. I'm gonna be right back. Or don't hold the thought. Keep talking.
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah. Where do you want Grayson to end up? Where do you see?
I
him
mean,
going?
I'd liked him to I like the path he is on right now, where he's like semi a solo hero. Sometimes he partners up with Babs. I really like the stories they have where it's him and John Kent.
Me too.
I'd almost like to continue to see him mentor other heroes, because I feel like he's that guy,
He's the greatest leader in DC. Like, no, everyone I think
right.
is behind him. I want him to be. I really hope this. I don't see it happening, but I want the Titans to work out. I want them to be the big team, because I think it's time for something. Like, he needs to. I think it's Grayson's time to really kind of step up to be the leader of DC. Like, he's like the dude in
Yeah.
charge, right? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, either a new version of Justice League, or if the Titans can take over, which I don't see happening. I think DC will go back to Justice League very soon, but I think he needs to be the one in charge. I think he's the one
Yeah.
that people need to look to, and especially
And I
teaming up
think
with John Kent. Yeah, I think it'd be good.
I think it's easy to say that Superman, specifically, Kal-El,
Sure.
sees him in that light. I mean, there was that issue, thank God I just got caught up the other day, that, when he had, for those like 2 hours that he had his superpowers, and he had his like modern disco wingsuit, which I liked the modern disco wing look.
I like it too. Yeah.
But when, for those 2 hours, Superman was like, well, let me show you something. That conversation where they're just looking at the earth, it made it so clear that Superman sees so much in him, and really sees his capabilities as not just a hero, but a leader.
Yep, I completely agree. He needs to be the person that everyone looks to. Like, in Justice League, Batman is in charge, but he uses fear to be in charge. That's what he does.
Right.
Grayson inspires and leads, right? That's what he does.
Yeah.
And that's what he's the best leader. And like I was saying, Dimithri, I hope the Titans take off. I don't think it will. I think Justice League will come back, but I hope he ends up being the leader of Justice League.
Yeah.
I think he can do it.
I have a vision for the future of Batman, or how they can tell some fresh stuff going forward. Is that Batman realizes that he can't be everywhere all at once, which is, he's realized that before, but like he can't be there all at once, but realizes that he has a whole family with a set of skills, that he might be better taking a step back and being a man in the chair and developing each of these heroes as a father and as a mentor. So he can have a whole sparring mentorship with Cass, and let her, like, he can learn a little, but like the point is to make her better, or to train them in things that they're not good at, and Bruce taking a step back. And this can be done in the comics without killing Bruce. Have him step back without having a disease, without having being dead. So we don't, like, these characters can step up. He needs a break.
Just have him be smart. Just have him think about it finally.
Maybe he's
he's already like the smartest character in DC.
If they cared so much about him, his family, and if he cared so much about his family, like, they should be like, look, you can take the night off, and then if he's like, I can't, then it's like, then why can't you trust that we can do these things?
Yeah, no one will see the mission like he does, Dimithri. What? No one will ever see the mission like he does.
Well, he could see the mission from the chair, is what I'm trying to say.
And no one can do it like he can.
But then
no one will be as dedicated as he is.
Then
that's why he can never step away.
Then they need to have a heart-to-heart with him, because, like, imagine, like, if your dad, like, dads do this, like, you can't do it as good as that. Then train me. Then make me better. I'm older now than you were when you had me.
That's what I'm saying. They won't make the same choice.
You can write that. Like,
Grayson has already. That's what Grayson left Batman for. That's why Grayson left him, because he doesn't want to be Batman.
He doesn't have to be. Yeah, he doesn't have to be Batman. He's Nightwing. But what I'm trying to say is,
the mission.
You can really push. You can really explore new concepts by having Bruce have humility.
Step back.
Just a little bit of humility.
Just a little bit. Doesn't mean he has to stop being Batman.
But he can be a better father. Like,
yes.
Imagine one-on-one time with him training Tim in detective skills from the chair.
Sure.
It'd be nice.
I completely agree.
He can also take a night off, let the kids go off, and chase after the Joker while he takes Selina to dinner.
Yeah.
I completely agree with all of you. I love this. This is
Selena
phenomenal.
deserves a date night.
This is why we got
That doesn't
Batman,
involve crime.
Batman Family Adventures. This is why that exists. It's phenomenal.
Oh,
it,
yeah.
it just inspires that and all this. Bruce will never do that. His
No.
mission won't let him do that, man.
The way they dangled the marriage in front of us.
Yeah, I think it could work. I think that would show growth for his character. I think the best thing DC ever did with Superman is give him a son.
I love that. Tomasi
I
Gleason's
really
Rebirth
like-
Superman is
Yeah.
Superman World's Greatest Dad is what it should have been called. It was phenomenal. That book was great.
Right. And I think that a similar change has to be on the horizon for a couple of other superheroes across these two companies. Spider-Man needs to grow up and progress. Peter Parker.
Sure.
Because
Sure.
there are other
Yeah.
Spider people around. I think that we've already seen it with Wally West. Wally West is a father and a superhero.
Mhm.
I think that Spider-Man needs to grow up and do that. I think that Bruce Wayne needs to... Bruce is in his 40s. Not late 40s, but he's at least in his early 40s.
Solidly, yeah.
Because if Dick has been Robin for, in my head, 14, 15 years, then that means the age of heroes is 15 years-ish, right?
It's hard to put age to these guys. It's hard to.
It's not canon, and things that I'm saying
It hurts
aren't
if you
canon,
think
but,
too
like,
hard about it.
that's what I... So if Bruce is, been Batman for 15, 16, 17 years, let him be 40. Let him be 41. Let his knees hurt a little bit.
A little bit. A little arthritis.
Well, I mean, if you're putting him at 45, that means
no, 45 is
at 27
is a little bit too much, but yeah.
But then Grayson's at 27.
Yeah.
That's, was it 18 years? So Bruce was 18 when Grayson was born.
Grayson was born randomly, but
yeah,
he would have been in his 30s or
30s?
late 20s, early
late
30s.
20s as Batman. He took him on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean,
Yeah,
I would
is
say
that still good?
I would say
Let's see
he was
that.
25 when he started being Batman. He's 40 now. It's 15 years.
Late, maybe 29 to 32 is somewhere in there is when he took on Dick as his
Grayson.
protege.
15
All right,
years
all right.
is a big enough.
Then no one can have any more birthdays going on. Like, that's just what they are.
Well,
This
I
is
mean,
what
at a
they are
certain-
now.
at
That's
a
their
certain
ages. It
point,
makes sense at
a
this
certain
moment.
point, Bruce will be 45, and at a certain point, Bruce will be 50. But the whole point about these superhero
And then we get Terry
families
McGinnis.
is that we can
Terry McGinnis.
move. Do we need a Terry McGinnis if he has a team of
Yes.
Bat people?
Those are my only three Batman: Bruce, Terry, and Grayson. The only three people I like. in
I
Batman.
need Terry McGinnis at some point because
So-
I love him.
I also like Terry McGinnis.
I think, and this is something I was talking about with a friend of mine. She thinks that Cass should be Batman, and I said, well,
Ooh.
she wouldn't be Batman per se, but I would not want to put Cass as Batwoman. I would
Yeah.
just
She's the Bat.
call the Bat.
She's the Bat.
She's
Yeah,
the Bat of
the
Gotham.
Bat.
Cass should be the
I
Bat
like
of
that.
Gotham.
Sure.
Like, we keep thinking
I like
also
that.
in these like male-centered
I mean-
kind of like lineages. It's like, but like Cass would be the Bat of Gotham.
She would
That'd
be
be a
very
fr-
good in that role. She would,
Yeah.
because
give
Batman
her
is
a
not
team.
just because I mean you put Dick Grayson in the Batman suit and he was out as Batman, but he's not Batman in that way. Whereas Cass, because Batman is more than just putting on the suit and fighting the villains of Gotham. Like it's such a specific way about how he carries himself, how he channels the fear into where Dick smiles too much. You can't channel
Yeah.
the darkness that the character really needs to have, whereas I think Cass very much could channel that fear that the character needs.
This is
Yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly what I'm talking about. It's hard to take Bruce out of it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's hard
Don't
to take
kill
Bruce out
him.
of it.
He is still let
Don't
him
kill
suit
him.
up. Let him suit up every so often. You know what I mean?
The
He's
only
man
time
in the
he's
chair,
not
but
going to do it is if you kill him.
Yeah, and the
or he
same way that
physically
Bats has
can't.
stepped back.
Because
No.
even look at books
It's
like
about a
Kingdom
shift
Come,
in
right?
priorities is what I'm
Look
trying
at
to
books
say.
like
Yeah.
Kingdom Come. Even that he was able to make technology to keep moving, right? Even
Yeah.
the beginning of because it didn't take until the beginning of Batman Beyond series, right? He was still in the Batman Beyond suit, but he physically couldn't do it anymore, and so he
Yeah.
had to put someone in there. So the only way to get him to stop doing that is to
physically
show him
stop
that it's not going to be, he can't do it anymore.
Uh,
If he thinks he can do it,
Huge
he will
stop.
do it.
So
He will do
Yeah.
I
it.
agree with you, and that is a lot of people's interpretations of Batman. But if you view
Yeah.
him as a human that can change, then there will be a shift in priorities, or can be a shift.
He's
in
also a
priorities.
human who's stubborn.
He's stubborn, but is he also compassionate? That's the Batman we like, right?
Oh,
We
yeah.
like
Sure, of course.
compassionate Batman.
Oh yeah.
Don't
Oh,
we
yeah.
like? Don't we all like Batman as a father? Like, or
Oh,
realize
yeah.
what happens if he has his epiphany that like he is not the best father he could be.
I think
Are you-
I mean, we've seen that.
We've seen it.
Are
Because
you saying
I
that
mean,
he
I
would-
know Heroes in Crisis is kind of a controversial comic, but one of the things I really loved about that story were the, confessionals
Yeah.
Yeah.
where we had the heroes in therapy, and I'm almost positive that Bruce kind of has some sort of moment like that where he admits that he is not the best father.
I agree. Do you
He wants
think
to be,
he
but
would
he's not.
do you think he would sacrifice someone to save the mission, to continue his mission? Or do you think he would
I don't
save
think he would.
someone?
I think
I think
think
he
he
would
would stop his
prioritize
mission
his
to
team
save
over the
someone?
mission. I absolutely think he would.
I think he would do both because Batman doesn't choose one or the other, right?
There we go. That
That's
was the
true.
answer I wanted. He can
That's
do both.
true.
He has an answer for
It's
both.
Ba-
Thank
it's,
you.
it's
Yes,
Batman.
sir. That's what I was going
But
to
what would
say.
his
Yes,
answer be for both?
he would do both.
He would have father-child time, and
Mhm.
have that father-child time push the mission forward.
Yeah.
He can do both.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I completely agree
You know
with
what I
that
mean?
one.
Like Batman can
he
do
would do
anything,
both.
right? So why can't he be a good father?
He can do both.
You're telling me he's the best at everything. He's the best at DDR, right? He's the best at
Being a
squash.
father, though, is
If the mission meant being good at DDR, yes, he would be good at DDR. What are you talking about?
Right. Batman's good at
What are you
DDR.
talking
He's
about?
good at squash. He's probably really great at beer pong. Like he's great at all these things.
Best at beer pong.
Is he great
Yeah.
at being a father? Let him be great. You know, a great father.
But here's the
a
thing,
father
I think-
capable of change will shift his priorities for his family.
But I think there's something to be said about when it comes to being a parent. Obviously, I have all the expertise with all my children.
Yeah.
We all do right here.
But-
we all know.
I think there's something to be said about, even if he becomes a better father, I think there's something to be said about being a really good father, but then at the same time still recognizing that you could have done better for your kids.
But the
Like
change
I
starts
have
now.
I have an incredible relationship with my parents. There's no question. I look to my parents that when I one day have kids, I look to my parents as a model of parenting. But at the same time, like there's things I can, I've had these conversations with my parents where it's like, oh, if we had approached this different, if you had approached this differently, things could have been a little different for me in a slightly better way. Not that they did something wrong. They weren't bad, but there's always, and I think there's something, I think that's just how parenting is. You're never going to be the perfect parent,
Right.
even if you're a great parent.
Right. But you can always change starts now, right?
Yeah.
So you can shift things, and this I think
Yeah.
is a thing that like we are all dealing with when it comes to like us growing up as human beings. We realize that,
Yeah.
But there's a lot of,
I can
and
agree
I
now.
would love for Nightwing to step up as the head child, and he can do,
Absolutely.
he can.
I
do
would
a
love
lot
to
of
as well.
things.
He definitely has, as
I
much
know-
as
I
he's grown,
think
he
we're
has more
seeing
time to come
that.
too.
Give me a quick sec. What is going on here? Hold on. You guys there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah. For some reason I cut out again. There's a lot. Were you guys gonna say something real quick?
I was going to say, I think we're starting to see at least the setup for that journey for Dick.
Yeah.
We're definitely seeing him step up as a leader in so many ways. One with his mentorship of John Kent, and the conversation above the world that he had with Kal-El. Kal-El was clearly spelling it out for him, like, you are the future of heroes. And we're seeing him, in so many ways, he's very much the leader already of the Titans. And it's so clear that that is the path that they are continuing
Yeah.
down.
My friend and frequent guest on the show, Gil Barron, says that each franchise, each story that we deal with has a character that you see through the whole thing. His thing is Dick Grayson is that character for DC Comics. Like, he has the through line. It's not Superman, it's Dick.
Yeah.
And things revolve around Nightwing, you know?
Yeah.
We're gonna close up this episode. I want to thank you guys so much both for coming on. Again, we could talk about Nightwing forever, you know?
Literally,
so
literal
long.
days.
We could literally talk about
There's
Nightwing
so many things we didn't even cover that I wish we had.
Yeah.
No joke.
I want to thank you guys both so much for coming on the show, taking time out of your day to be here. Before we get going, Michael, where can we find you online? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
Sure. For the Love of Comics is my main site on TikTok and branch off on the other sub sites as well. I'm starting my own comic game store right now, so take a look at that. It's 98 Comics and Games, so make sure to follow that going forward as well. Doing a lot of online stuff, and then have an actual physical store. It'll be great. But yeah, that's where my weekly recommends for comics each week, all the new stuff, and then just funny comic book related videos going. So if you like all that, that's where I'm at, and community building, stuff like that.
And on Instagram, Mike's Comic Life.
Yeah, there's that too.
Okay.
Thank you, Dimithri.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
You gotta keep we gotta work on something.
I know you're my PR manager. I rely on you for that.
We're gonna work on it. Cailin, where can we find you online? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
So I'm Comics by Cailin on both Instagram and TikTok. I long since deleted my Twitter.
That's fair.
Oh, sorry, X. I am on Threads, but I'm not using it.
Threads needs to get their hashtag thing sorted out for me.
There's a lot of potential for Threads. I want Threads to be what Twitter once was, but it's not there yet.
Agreed.
Yeah.
What do I have coming up? I am currently in Con Crunch for New York Comic Con. This is my first time that I will be doing all 4 days. So my feet are going to die.
Yeah.
But I'm in the process of getting all 4, I guess kind of 5, because the after parties. My cosplay's ready. So I'm very excited. I'm going to be doing Rey the first day. I'm in the process of building my own lightsaber with things I bought at the hardware store. I'm working on my Nightwing. I've got on a Loki upgrade coming, and the one that I'm most excited about, which I did do like a soft drop preview on my close friend story on Instagram the other day, but I got a brand new one-of-a-kind custom cosplay that I can't wait. I'm gonna have to somehow find a way to hold off until Comic-Con to debut her, but I'm so excited to debut that suit.
Awesome. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming on here. Thank you to anyone out there who's been watching us on twitch.tv/The Keeg Show or youtube.com/The Keeg Show, or listening to the podcast wherever you get your podcast from: Apple Podcasts, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. We are all over the place. So wherever you guys are, like, comment, subscribe, follow, do your thing. You don't have to spend any money. Write a review. Give us 5 stars. Give us whatever. Like, it doesn't have to cost you anything, but let us know you're out there, you know? If you're following us on social media, Instagram and TikTok are 2 biggest ones, at The Keeg Show. We're also on Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff, /The Keeg Show, at The Keeg Show, all that good stuff. Patreon.com/The Keeg Show if you want to give back to us with a little subscription donation tier. That is how we work. Other than all that, we have Comic Talk every Thursday and the Keeg Talks every weekend. This is the Keeg Talks Nightwing. We'll have the Keeg Talks something else also. Show your support for the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes out there. It's only a matter of time till things work out in their favor. Hopefully, you know. Other than that, that's pretty much the gist of things. Thank you everybody out there for watching. Thank you for coming on. Once again, I am your host, Dimithri Perera, and this has been the Keeg Talks Nightwing. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
THEKEEG super